4, 36, 22, 18, 24. Thanks for playing the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Welcome to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. This is a really exciting day. There's so much happening, starting with some of these live shots you're taking a look at your screen right now. So in the left-hand camera, you're seeing a live look at a man who's standing on top of the Frederick Douglass Bridge. This is out in Washington, D.C. Now, that bridge has been closed while police are responding to this incident. Now, the only reason we are showing you this scene, I promise you, I would be as careful as possible. This man has been up there for hours. I don't have any feeling or indication that anything is going to happen in terms of him trying to harm himself, but this is something that we are keeping our eyes on as police continue to look at that area. On the bottom right hand of your screen, you're seeing Skyfox, one of our helicopters, flying over the city of Philadelphia. So I don't know if you've heard, today is May Day, and I mean, I thought that was something that people just yelled when a ship was going down or something like that, but May Day actually is an international holiday in which people join together, usually in protest, and they are trying to get, better labor practices, better wages for our workers. As you all know, Philly is a very big labor town, so a lot of people have been getting out, and it's not just happening here. We've seen places all over the world, people gathering together. We've heard about Europe for sure, definitely a couple of different places here in the US. We're talking about thousands of people getting together in order to try and fight for better wages. So far, we're looking at about 600 groups with $2 billion in annual revenues, hosting 6,000 events all across the country. These are pro-socialist demonstrations in honor of May Day. So you learn a little something with me, I learn a little something with you. I want to remind you all that this is a live interactive news program. So it's not your typical news show. What's going to happen here, I'll bring you the news. I'll talk to you about what's going on, the weather, sports, but I want you to talk back with me. So we are streaming on a couple of different social media platforms. We'll be on TikTok, we'll be on Facebook, we'll be on YouTube, and of course, some of you are probably even watching us here on the free Fox Local app, or maybe even fox29.com/live. Welcome. I mentioned it's interactive. You can talk back with me. If you've got a question for one of our reporters or one of the exciting interviews that I have coming up for you guys, or maybe there's a topic floating around town and you are seeing that I'm just not getting at it and you want me to, all you got to do is go into one of the comment sections on one of those social media platforms I told you about. Let us know what you want to see. I might give you a shout out right here live on Philadelphia Live, and then maybe we'll get into that topic ahead. So a lot on the docket today that I wanted to go over with you all, talk to you about May Day. Today is really, really busy across the city of Philadelphia because of that. We know some streets have already been blocked off, but tomorrow is going to be even crazier. So there are a plethora of events planned around the city, around New Jersey, and sure Delaware as well, but Philadelphia is going to be super busy. I want to get right out to Joanne, who's been keeping track of some of the different events that are happening, including a bunch of sports events all on the same day. Joanne, honestly, it's way too much to keep track of. Walk me through it. What are we expecting tomorrow?
Hey guys, how are you? We're pre-gaming actually. Well, I'm not pre-gaming anything, but the people here at Maggie's in the Northeast are pre-gaming before it all starts tomorrow. They are getting extremely excited for a marathon sporting day for Phillies fans. Obviously, it's the Phillies, plus the Flyers, plus the Sixers, plus the Kentucky Derby, plus the Union. Just a fantastic day if you're a Phillies sports fan. Two of them, obviously, major playoff games for our teams. So, obviously, the bars, the restaurants, will be extremely busy tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be home parties as well. But most of the people we talk to are wearing green for the Eagles, obviously a little off-season. But they've got their Flyers shirts on. Awesome, that's awesome. We've got Phillies fans here. We've got people who are making some wagers on the Kentucky Derby. And everyone's getting ready for another big day tomorrow. It's obviously happy hour Friday night, but it'll be another big party tomorrow. And a little earlier, we spoke with the manager here at Maggie's.
Crazy to see how much we've got going on, how many people are out there excited for this. Joanne, you may not be able to hear me, so I just want our audience to keep that in mind. It is absolutely bananas out there, and the fact that everybody's out there tonight, but tomorrow's going to be even crazier. As she mentioned, there are a lot of different things happening around the city of Philadelphia. We've got a couple of different things written up for you on our website. You can also check us out on our social media platforms. And pretty soon, I'm actually going to have an interview with one of our very own employees who keeps you up to date on social media of all the exciting things to do around the city of Philadelphia. That's going to be really exciting. Her name is Abigail, and I'm excited to have her on the show. Joanne, I'm going to let you go and get acclimated for tonight's shows. But again, you can see just how many people are packing out these businesses. It seems like a really fun time out there. And, hopefully we'll be able to work out. We're just being very honest. We're having a couple of technical difficulties. We're going to iron them out for you all. But remember that I told you that you can interact with me on our social media platforms. So we fired up the TikTok. I see a lot of you guys joining in. And as you keep joining in, I'll start shouting you out. If you want to, let me know exactly where you're viewing us from. That'll be really exciting. Sometimes we have people joining us here in Philadelphia, in New Jersey, in Delaware. But I've noticed lately, especially, we're getting some international viewers as well. So I'm excited to see where you guys are joining us from. Remember that you can interact with us in real time. All right. So let's move things forward. I'll take a live look back out in the city of Philadelphia because it is a beautiful night. There are a couple of different visuals that we can give you all, but the city skyline is probably one of my favorites. So the sun clearly it's getting ready to set, but this is a picture perfect moment. As you can see, the water just drifting on by. Oh, again, a beautiful day. And I hear that even though this has been a nice enough week as is, it's going to get a little chilly. And then all of a sudden, Scott Williams, our meteorologist, it's going to skyrocket in temperature. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been joking, Judea, about just kind of being on this roller coaster since March. I mean, we've had these temperatures that have been up and down, and that is the continuation. I mean, welcome to the month of May. Temperatures today made it into the mid 60s, a few degrees below average, of course. 70 degrees is where we should be for this time of year, but temperatures for the upcoming weekend for many locations will likely be stuck in the upper 50s because we're watching a dip in the jet stream, and yes, the threat for some rainfall, not only moving in tonight, believe it or not, but for some of the coastal areas for Saturday, there could be a few showers. We're not looking at a washout by any means, nothing like what we saw last Saturday, but a live look outside of our studios. The sun is still out. We have temperatures in the mid 60s, and hopefully some of us will get a preview and a look at that flower moon for tonight before the clouds start to move in and overtake the area. Those temperatures over the weekend will be dropping as we discussed. The high today was officially 66 degrees, but about a 30% chance for a few spotty showers for tonight into the overnight as we watch a disturbance that's off to the west of us. That will be on the move toward the Delaware Valley overnight tonight, increasing those clouds. So that's why hopefully you can get a glimpse of that flower moon for tonight. Now, of course, it's not going to have any flowers on it, but we will see those clouds kind of rolling in, obscuring that full moon for most of us as we get beyond the late evening time frame. Temperatures, once again, will be dropping for the upcoming weekend below average. So another chilly weekend across the Delaware Valley. Here's a look at those clouds as well as some of the rainfall already moving into the Poconos, into Berks County, a few sprinkles out there. A lot of this is going to diminish once we lose that daytime heating. So it's kind of instability driven. The daytime heating kind of helps bubble up some of those showers that are going to be pushing toward our area over the next several hours into the overnight time frame. So they're kind of moving into Berks County as well as Lancaster County right now. In fact, we'll go hour by hour and show you the cloud cover moves in as well as a few of those light showers. So not a lot of heavy rainfall, but putting about a 30% chance of those showers in the forecast for the overnight, and then it's out of here by daybreak. That's the disturbance for tonight, but we're going to lock in those clouds because we're watching another kind of conveyor belt of moisture. It's kind of streaming along the Gulf Coast, and this is actually good news for those areas that have been dealing with those wildfires. We talked a little about that earlier in the week. Thousands of acres have been burning in South Georgia along the Georgia and Florida border, and you can see that kind of stream of moisture along the Gulf Coast. Those clouds and those showers will be hitting some of those areas in desperate need of that rainfall, because the latest drought monitor came out yesterday and put many locations in a severe and exceptional drought across the Gulf Coast. So some beneficial rainfall, but that moisture is going to transfer its energy off of the Carolina coast overnight tonight, during the day tomorrow. Now, this is the coastal system that will bring just a brush of some showers toward the Delaware beaches, the Jersey Shore for your Saturday. So once again, it's going to be even cooler down the shore, with those temperatures likely locked in the 50s as we get an easterly wind that develops because of that coastal low. But it's going to remain well out to sea. And once again, just a few spotty showers expected, mainly far south and east, Delaware beaches, Jersey Shore. Look at the high temperatures for tomorrow. We're talking numbers upper 50s to low 60s. So that's why I was saying some of us could be stuck in the 50s. We have the Walk MS tomorrow morning taking place in front of the Art Museum steps. And we're talking about the Rittenhouse Row Spring Festival taking place. Also South Street Spring Fest. So lots of events taking place. Lots of folks are in town. It is going to be a little chilly, so have that windbreaker, have maybe the hoodie, the sweatshirt with those high temperatures. Once again, struggling to make it into the low 60s, and then mostly cloudy skies out there as well, with the proximity of that coastal low that's looming well out to sea on Saturday. And then, yeah, thousands of runners are going to be partaking in the Broad Street Run. That is on Sunday. Brighter sky conditions. I think we'll have a bit of a breeze, but the wind shouldn't really be a factor. It'll be mainly out of the northwest, about 10 to 15 miles per hour on Sunday. And look at those temperatures. I mean, we're talking numbers early in the morning only in the mid 40s, and then temperatures will be climbing into the mid 50s as we get toward the noon time frame, and early afternoon temperatures upper 50s. High temperatures on Sunday for Philadelphia will likely be somewhere in the ballpark of the low 60s. So as we look at that overall 7-day forecast, we're talking temperatures going right back up. You can see by Monday we're at 75 degrees, and then temperatures for Cinco de Mayo still trending into the 80s. 85 degrees. That would be about 10 to 15 degrees above average. And then some beneficial rainfall. I think more widespread showers are in the forecast as we get toward Wednesday, as well as for Thursday of next week. So 74 degrees by Wednesday, then mid 60s for Thursday into Friday. And that will set us up for Mother's Day weekend. Now, in terms of the overall temperature trend for Mother's Day weekend, high temperatures next Saturday, likely in the upper 60s, low 70s likely for Sunday itself. Now, some computer models do want to bring the threat for a few showers in the forecast, unfortunately, for Mother's Day itself. So hopefully we can get that rain out of the forecast, and trends will be for a dry but pretty pleasant and seasonable Mother's Day weekend next weekend. Judea, back over to you.
Scott, sounds good to me. Now, let me just ask you, in case we don't get so lucky and the rain stays, do you have any ideas, any options for people who want to get out there for Mother's Day? Maybe a brunch on the indoors?
Oh, absolutely. Idea. Yeah, breakfast in bed for mom. So yeah, amazing. You know, why not cook mom her favorite breakfast? That would be a good idea. So.
I think that's a perfect idea. All right. Thank you so much. We were looking forward to getting to see you a little later on. And one thing that I love so much is every time we do a forecast with you guys, it looks like Tuesday gets warmer and warmer and warmer, and I love it.
We're turning the right corner.
Yes, indeed. All right, we'll talk to you later, Scott.
Okay.
You guys, we have so much to get through today. A lot of things happening around town. So remember I told you about those May Day protests. I want to get a live look on the grounds right now because I do see one of our cameras is available for you all. Now, we're waiting to see exactly where this particular protest is taking place, but I can tell you this is a live camera on the grounds. Okay, I see Chicago Teachers Union, so this must be Chicago, Illinois, and you can see some of their signs there. We're going to be very careful because every now and again at a protest, it wouldn't surprise me if you see a sign that may have some cursing on it. A lot of people are very passionate as they are speaking out and speaking on their beliefs. But once again, May Day, it's an international holiday. We do celebrate it here in the U.S. as well. And it is for people to, voice their concerns about labor practices, also trying to make sure that there's a livable wage for employees out there. And so again, we're seeing protests, thousands of protests all over the world. We're seeing quite a few here in the U.S. itself. In addition to Chicago, I can also tell you that we're seeing protests in a couple of other areas, like here in Philadelphia. We're also seeing some in DC, Los Angeles. As any new live cameras pop up throughout the night, I'll try to bring you out just so you can take a look at how many people are gathering and maybe even see what some of their as long as they're clean, what some of their signs say. And I just want to say a quick shout out to Rapidu on TikTok, who's joining us from Northeast Philly. We love to have home in the house. This is pretty cool. Let me know where else you guys are watching us from. If you'd like to, I'd give you a shout out. All right, I'm going to keep this ball rolling. When we come back, it's a busy weekend for sports as well. Like tomorrow, jam-packed. We'll be talking about it with one of our sports team members when we come back. Welcome to Philadelphia Live, you guys. I'm Judea Murray. Again, it is a busy night in sports, and tomorrow is going to be even busier. So first of all, let's talk about the Phillies real quick before we get ready for our sports hit. I heard their game just began. They're playing the Miami Marlins tonight. Again, that game just started, so of course the score is still 0-0, but anything could change. It's anybody's game. I want to check in now in just a second, actually, with Breland Moore. Okay, some other things that we'll be talking about. Sixers They play a very important game tomorrow. We'll be talking about what's at stake, and then of course the Flyers have their big game as well. All right, let's get on out to Breland Moore. Breland, I'm hoping that you can help me make some sense of this. Let's start with the Sixers. What's at stake for this game?
Well, it's do or die at this point. It's Game 7. It's the deciding game. Anything could happen. The winner of tomorrow's Game 7 will, of course, advance into the NBA playoffs. The loser of Game 7, their season comes to a close, as most playoff series are. So there are very few Game 7 situations that we have seen with this team, and each one of them is always really fun. And yeah, so tomorrow should follow suit, and it should definitely be part of that. But yeah, it's very much the winner of this, winner take all.
It sounds good. It also sounds really nerve-wracking. But I hear if we do win and we move on to round 2, that means we play the Knicks. And you've definitely seen this. The Knicks just spanked the Hawks. Is that any indication for how it might go for us if we go up against them, or what was that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be very honest with you. I didn't expect the Sixers to be in this position to begin with. The fact that they came out and lost Game 1 by 32 points, I would be the first one to tell you that they were cooked, and I have been saying that this entire time. That being said, the fact that they've won both Games 5 and Game 6 speaks a lot to the fight left in this team. And to be quite honest, I think, judging from what we've seen the past 2 games, now there is a momentum issue in basketball. It doesn't necessarily dictate, the fact that you can win 2 games and then immediately Boston will come out and win by 40. That's not unusual. It just kind of is a sport that doesn't have the momentum that you see necessarily in like hockey or baseball when it comes to the postseason. But the way that those last 2 games have gone, I mean, I think the Sixers played their most complete game yesterday already in Game 6. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they win, but I think at that point you're playing with house money because they haven't beaten the Celtics in a series in 44 years. I'm not really looking ahead to the Knicks or thinking about anything that's going on right now. They've got to win Game 7 tomorrow first before we can look ahead, because that in and of itself is a really tall task, like I said, that they haven't done in 4 decades.
Heard. So I mean, for you, it's just we put one foot in front of the other.
That's the philosophy of the team as well. They have to go in with a clean slate. What they've done in the past 2 games, what they've done this series, doesn't really matter. It comes down to 1 game and 1 game only, and that's tomorrow at 7:30. So that's the focus of the team, and I think that's kind of the focus of the fan base as well. Looking ahead doesn't, who knows? That might not even remotely be a conversation because the season could very well be over by Sunday. So
we'll see what happens. All right, another team that I want to talk to you about, fans are going absolutely crazy over, is the Flyers. They'll be playing tomorrow as well. What's at stake with this game?
So this will be Game 1 of this series. They are in their second round, the Eastern Conference semifinal series with the Carolina Hurricanes. First time these 2 franchises have ever met in the playoffs, period. But they have met 4 times in the regular season. The Flyers went 1-0-3. The only game that they actually won was the last one, but all 3 of those previous games were before the Olympic break, and that's kind of when the Flyers started to get hot. So this is really no indication. Also, all 4 of those games were 1-goal games, really tight. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they piece together. The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the Eastern Conference. However, they've been sitting for a while. They swept the Ottawa Senators in 4 games. So that also is a little bit of an interesting factor, the rust versus rest determinant. Meanwhile, the Flyers are a team that's really built on momentum, and the fact that they have gone 6 games against the Penguins and are really hot off of that Game 6 overtime victory with that Cam York goal, I think actually benefits them in this situation. So we'll see. But Game 1 is tomorrow in Raleigh at 8 p.m. Of course, that is also a best-of-7 series as well.
Okay, we're going up against the best in this particular conference. That's a tall order. But as you were telling us, it seems like the team, I'm going to use the word lucky, but honestly, it also kind of sounds like they've worked really hard to get here. And there are a lot of new guys on the team that really want to prove themselves as well. So while I say lucky, I do also believe that they deserve the spot that they're in.
Yeah, I think anytime that your goaltender has not one but 2 shutouts in the postseason, one of them being a 42 save shutout, that's not luck, that's skill. I mean, that's you when you face almost half 100 shots in a game and you stop every single one of them, that is not just luck on your side. That is very much skill.
Point taken, point taken. Okay, so I also want to get into the Phillies because they have their game going on right now as we speak. They literally just started. I'm looking, and it looks like they're in the bottom of the first. So right now they're going against the Miami Marlins. What kind of team are we talking about here?
This is also a team that I believe does not have a winning record as well. Same with the Giants. I believe the Marlins are 15-16, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's another team. This is another get right series, I think. All of these teams that they've been facing, the Giants, the Marlins, etc. This little stretch here is a really good get right stretch for them because they're not facing these heavy hitting division leader type teams going on. However, the Phillies are not very good either, so we'll see if they can piece some stuff together. This one, of course, beginning at 7:10, so as you mentioned, it just got underway here just a few minutes ago. So we'll see what they can do, but as I've been saying all week, I think I need a good month and a half to really see whether or not the firing of Rob Thompson and the installation of Don Mattingly as interim really makes a tangible difference with this team, or if this is just a quick little reaction from the fact that they were sent a very clear message from Phillies brass, and also, I'm sure that they got the message from Philadelphia in general because they were booed at the Flyers game when they showed them on the video board. So we'll see if this is just a little bump or if this is sustainable.
I had to giggle a little bit because our fans are so crazy.
I mean, they deserve it. When you have a record of 9-19 when Rob Thompson got fired, you deserve it. It wasn't just the manager's fault. It's everybody in that organization. The manager can't execute for the players. They have to do that themselves. So, yeah, they absolutely deserved it. Some people thought it was a little harsh, but they 100% earned every one of those boos, in my opinion.
Do you get any sense, because you've actually been out there, points in time, you've gotten to talk to some of the team members, do you get any sense that they feel maybe even a little guilty for manager taking the fall for what probably everybody has contributed to?
Yeah, so I was out there the day that Don Mattingly made his first appearance, and Bryce Harper even said that. He was like, look, it takes all of us, it's on all of us, and we have to be better. We have to execute much better. He was one of the only players that actually spoke pregame. It was Bryce Harper and Jose Alvarado were the only two people who made themselves available to the media. But Bryce, he did not, mince words. He was very straightforward when he said it's all of us that need to be better. And so I think that message, when you have a leader like Bryce Harper say something like that, that message has definitely trickled down to the rest of the roster for sure.
All right. Well, normally I'll talk to you about all of the Philly teams that are, doing big, doing different things. But I'm going to keep one for myself because, of course, the Eagles, they have their mini camp going on. Mm-hmm. Later on, I'm going to let our audience hear from the head coach. He had a press conference and, addressed how he sees the season going ahead and what he's seeing in mini camp right now. So I'm going to let you go, figure out what's going on with the Phillies tonight, and, of course, take a look at what we can expect for tomorrow. And I'll get that ready for our audience. Now, I want to keep things going, too, as well, you guys. Now it's just you and I here. Let's have a moment of honesty. These gas prices are crazy. And for a lot of us, there's not too much that we can do about it. If you drive and you don't want to stop driving, you're going to have to put gas in your car. So we know that for a while there where we had that ceasefire deal, something going on with Strait of Hormuz, it kind of looked like maybe gas was becoming stagnant in some places. Like we were still seeing it rise, but not at this crazy pace that we are now seeing it at. So first and foremost, I hear that we are, once again, paying for more gas, as I just mentioned. Prices are up across the nation, so it's not just you in your city, it's not just your state, it's not just here in Philadelphia. It seems to be a little bit of everybody. I put out a question to my audience on social media, and it's all going to come into context in just a second, but I wanted to know, like, how are you handling this? How are you making sense of how much money, how much extra money you're dishing out every single time you hit the gas pump? And so I actually asked some of my coworkers, and I had two really interesting, very opposite perspectives. I want to pose them to you. So one of my coworkers, Jody, she's using girl math here. She says that she's not letting her gas tank get under halfway. So once she gets to the halfway mark, she knows that's when she needs to go back in. And that's because for her, she's telling herself, if I don't see that full fill up price, then I'm doing okay. I didn't spend that much money. So if it's $25 versus the $50 that I'm probably gonna have to pay, it's not that bad. Does that make sense to you guys? I asked another coworker, Aaron. He says, I just don't want to see the price at all. He lives in New Jersey, and if you don't know, they don't pump their own gas there. They have gas station attendants. They pump the gas for them. And the guy at the end of the transaction says, do you want to see a receipt? And he said, no, I don't. I'll just wait till the credit card bill comes in the mail. And it is what it is at that point. I got to pay it. It is what it is. So is that how you guys are handling things? Do you have a better method? You can reach out to me on social media. I've actually got a video, a reel up right now. There's a poll on it if you don't want to put your name out there. But if you do and you've got something a little extra to say, I will be giving shout outs later on in a segment called What You Think. So that's the question that I wanted to pose to you all. But again, let's get back to the fact that it's not just us here at home facing this. It's really everybody around the country facing this pressure. We're seeing up more than 30 cents in just a week, according to AAA. Again, like, let's just be honest, that is crazy. I don't know how we're affording it, but a lot of us are just making our own way. So that rise comes as oil prices keep climbing. Tensions in Iran, while the war might be over, question mark. We're still seeing if that's, the case here, but it's impacting global supply. That's just the truth. I want to bring in Sarah Allegre from Los Angeles, who's been keeping an eye on how things are going. And Sarah, I mean, as I've been telling the people, we're seeing some of the highest prices in the last, 4 years? Is that right?
Judea, absolutely. I mean, since 2022, and you talked about some of the worst spots and where you guys are feeling it essentially on the East Coast. Here on the West Coast, Los Angeles County, definitely one of those places. I mean, if we're looking at the average here, $6.14 a gallon. But at this specific gas station that I'm at, it kind of goes to show that it's spotty depending on where you're at. $6.39 is the price here. If we drop down for diesel, just under $8. So drivers definitely feeling the impact. And it's been a little bit inconsistent over the course of the past few weeks, but drivers just telling me what they're seeing and what they're experiencing. Those prices there, much more than a number. So you're saying you can't even fill up your tank?
No. I could, but I have other expenses, bills and stuff, so I fill up the tank, like I'm gonna be short in other things.
To see 820 is pretty high, so are we going to reach $10? Who knows? We absorb that cost by doing business, so we are actually working a little bit harder and longer to kind of absorb those costs.
Yeah, gas prices very high. The national average now at $4.39 a gallon, up 9 cents from yesterday alone, and more than $1 higher than this time last year. It was nearly $3 before the conflict in Iran began in late February, as oil tops $100 a barrel, with no timeline, though, for reopening the Strait of Hormuz, the vital shipping lane off the Iran coast.
The price of oil escalating as the Strait of Hormuz now has been blocked for the majority of the last 8 weeks or so. That has sent global oil supplies into a nosedive, which has caused the price of oil to jump significantly.
Yeah, we're definitely feeling it here in California. Prices running about $1.66 higher than the national average. But it's not just one thing driving it here. The state has the highest gas taxes in the country. There's also a supply issue that we're dealing with. The American Petroleum Institute says California has fewer refineries than it used to, which can tighten up supply and raise prices faster.
We have only 6 refineries in the state of California, and they use more gasoline than any other state in the country. We used to have 43 refineries in California. You just don't have the refining capacity that you need to supply the market.
Yeah, and I've yet to fill up my car here with gas, and I'm a little bit concerned about doing that later on today. I have a bit of a drive after work, and so many people here just feeling this reality, whether you're from out of town, whether you live here, they're just trying to get used to it pretty much. You know, one person tells me, you know, a couple of weeks back, they were paying $100 a week, and then now it's $600. So definitely seeing that adjustment, and experts say we can continue to see this trend to come. Judea?
This is mind-boggling to me. I mean, even to hear the old prices that you guys are facing, $250, some people $100. And I used to complain, my little sedan, I could fill up for under $30. So for the month, I only filled up about once every 2 weeks. For the whole month, I was only paying about $60, and I feel bad for complaining about it now. But I do want to pose the question that I've asked our audience to you as well. You mentioned that later on you are going to have to put gas in your car. How are you eating the cost? Like, what are you telling yourself mentally to get through these, like, the bigger difference?
Well, I asked this question to some other people, and they were making some serious adjustments. You know, one person I talked to, he has to drive his car and uses it for work. But in order to adjust to the price that they're experiencing, he usually drives a much larger truck. He went down to a smaller one, and he fortunately had that option. A lot of people kind of saying, too, I'm not going to let my tank go down to a quarter. They're going to continue filling it up. But other people say, hey, I live in California. I'm used to high gas prices, and I'm just kind of accepting this reality and moving forward. I got to get to point A to point B, and they're doing so. But I just think you're seeing a whole different scale of reaction, really, depending on how far you're driving, where you're coming from, and so on.
That's fair. Every perspective that you just posted there, that's fair. And, you know, the president has weighed in himself. He has tried to tell us over and over again that this is a necessary evil, necessary means to an end for this war here, and that those prices will eventually come back down. We're all just waiting to see that day, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we saw it go down just a few weeks back, and we saw that trend continue, really, when there were talks about the U.S. and Iran reaching an agreement when it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. That's not the case right now, but we know experts watching the markets relatively closely, hoping we could see some kind of agreement here and get those prices down once again.
Thank you for giving us that perspective out in California, Sarah. Again, it makes me feel, how do I want to put this? I don't want to sound rude when I say it, but more appreciative of what we're seeing here in a way. But also it helps me make sense, like getting to hear all the different walks of life. So people who have to use gas for business, not just for pleasure, not just to get to work, not just to get to school, but people who literally have to fill up all of the time because that's quite literally how they make their money. Thank you for giving us that perspective too. I'm going to let you go because I know you have to get ready for some of your other station hits. You guys, she reports for all of the different sister stations that we have here across Fox. So again, Sarah, I appreciate your time here on Philadelphia Live. And while I have you guys, I just want to remind you that we will be talking about what's going on with Iran, what's going on with the ceasefire deal. Is the war over? Because you may be hearing rumors, but then you also may be hearing that the president says he's not quite done yet. He may have another trick up his sleeve. We'll be talking about all of that and more. But first, I want to get into some lighter, hyper local news. So after this break, we have an interview with somebody you probably know very, very well. His name is South Street Sam, but I want to let you know that there is so much more to him than just his camera. We'll be digging in deeper into who he is, why he's so passionate about photography when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. When I heard that I was getting this job, I got really excited because one of the things that's so important to me, and that's anywhere I work, is if I'm going to be on local news, I want to show you the heartbeat of the city. I want to show you the people who are doing all the things, who are making other people feel really good about themselves, the things that make it worthwhile. And one of those things here in Philadelphia, one of those heartbeats, is South Street Sam. You probably know him, you love him on social media, but I want to let you know he's been doing this for a long time. Virality came to him not too long ago, but again, he's been, I guess you could say, like a legend to a lot of the people here. He's joining me live right now. Sam, I hope I did justice introducing to you to the people. Again, we all call you South Street Sam, but introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Sammy Aziz. I'm better known as South Street Sam on Instagram and other social media platforms. I'm a photographer based here on South Street in Philadelphia. And yeah, I love what I do. I love putting smiles on people's faces and spreading joy and positivity in the city. You know, I got my start doing portraits on South Street every single day for a year straight. And since then, I've expanded to other parts of Philly. I've gone down towards the stadiums. I even just got back from a trip overseas. I spent over 2 months in Morocco, which is where my mother's from. So, yeah.
That's so incredible. And I just want to let the people know that when I first got wind of being able to do this job, I reached out to you directly because I was so excited. I had heard about you even back in Atlanta. Like, when I tell people that you've gone viral, we see you a little bit of everywhere. You have photographed some really cool celebrities. I'll just shout out the Philly ones like Kevin Hart, Meek Mill, at Meatball for the people who are chronically online. I want to ask you, when you've also gotten your platform to that big of a space, but you still go back to South Street and also do street photography for the people who are just the everyday people walking, what is that about? Why is that important to you?
I think it's rooted in, I like to see the good in everyone. You know, I think everyone has good inside of them. I grew up going to Quaker schools, and they had this tenet of faith that everyone has the light of God in them. So I take that to heart, and you know, I love just interacting with and photographing everyday people. You know, it's cool to photograph the celebrities as well, and I feel like all the, you know, experience and sort of practice I get from, you know, shooting out on the street every day, like I feel like that helps me keep my composure when I'm in those celebrity moments and stuff like that. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm also just trying to be the best artist and creative that I can be. So, like, it's kind of like I'm playing an instrument or something, and getting that practice every day helps me be the best photographer that I can be.
I like that analogy a lot. I'm a musical artist myself, so hearing you make that comparison, it rings true for me as well. Well, let's talk about you being out there. I'm sure you meet a lot of different types of people. You interact with all different walks of life. What is it like out there when you go? Can you tell me any story that maybe has stuck with you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say one of my favorite stories is like the first sort of big viral video I had was this little kid. He posed like Spider-Man on the corner
I love that
here
video.
Yeah, that was just such a great, wholesome, beautiful moment, you know, and I was just out shooting like normal, and I saw this family out of the corner of my eye. I was all done for the day, and it was actually my first time out with my friend Dan. He got some kind of background video for me, and it was just such a beautiful moment. Like you couldn't have made that up, and the way that the video really just took off and blew up and went viral, and it was just a testament to being out there every day and being consistent, and yeah, and you know, we did a part 2. We appeared on a kids television program together, you know, so it was, yeah, I mean, that's definitely, you know, one of my favorite moments on South Street for sure. But you know, every day it's so hard to say, like, you know, what my favorite portrait or moment is, because I've taken so many. I've taken over 100,000 portraits on South Street and 150,000 in general. So, you know, I feel like every moment really is special, and just yeah, you know, just coming back to that theme of just wanting to make people smile and put some joy in their day. You know, if I really sat here and thought about it, I could probably come up with another example, but that's the general, like, gist.
No, I love it. And I actually think Spider-Man was the first post that I saw that brought me into your page. And then I ended up taking a look at everything else that you've done, a lot of different types of work. And if I'm not mistaken, when you saw him the second time, did you bring him a Spider-Man camera so he could take pictures too?
Yeah, you know what, I did, because he was like, I like your camera, you know, so I was like, oh man, I gotta get him a little, you know, little Spider-Man themed camera. So we did that, and we've met up a couple of times since. Me and his family, I check on them every once in a while. I feel like I gotta check on them again now that you mention it. And
we love him.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have, now that I've thought about it a little bit, there was a moment where I met with Allen Iverson for the first time here on South Street. And I like went to introduce myself. I was like, hey, I'm South Street Sam, nice to meet you. And he interrupted me. He went, I know who you are, man. And like, that was just like, where's up from there? Like, I don't even, that's like one of my childhood heroes, you know. So to hear AI, like Allen Iverson himself, be like, I know who you. I was like, wow, okay, this is something. You know, and we've met a couple times since, and he even called me a legend, so that was pretty cool. Like, to hear a Hall of Fame basketball player, a man that single-handedly took us to an NBA Finals. Shout out to Allen Iverson. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you got that moment. And I've seen videos where people, you know, rolling up on the side of the street of you in their cars will shout out like, that's Sam. And even when I told Bill Anderson, one of my colleagues here, that I was interviewing you, he got excited as well. Again, we all know you. We all love you. So to be honest, I feel honored that you were willing to be on Philadelphia Live with me. Got a couple of more questions for you, so I hope you got a little more time left.
Of course, yeah.
All right, beautiful. So we have talked about the fact that you were doing this long before. You're a portrait photographer at heart. Let me ask you, what feels better to you and why? When you have those posed photos, or do you like the candid moments?
I think I like the candid moments. I just feel like, you know, there's something about approaching someone with a nice camera, and like there's little moments too. Like it was Mother's Day last year, and I went out and I just took pictures of people, you know, with their families and stuff like that. And I think it's just all about the kind of organic, sort of candid moments for me. Like, I like making people laugh, and you know, just trying to come up with something silly to say. You know, you know, I do like traditional sort of portrait photography as well, you know, like longer sessions with people and stuff like that. But like, as far as photography goes, I started when I was a kid. Like, when I was 10, 11 years old, I got my first camera, and you know, I carried that passion with me into adulthood. It's been, you know, over 20 years now. I'm 31 now, so yeah, I mean, it's cool even seeing you guys show my work on the station right now. It's like, it brings it all back to me. I was out there every single day for a year, so you can see my work like that.
And you have a lot of it. That's the other thing too, you guys. You mentioned consistency, and I think that that's the key here. So as you can see, photos upon photos upon photos, and I'm telling you guys that this isn't the only style that he shoots in either. So when you say being consistent, I just, you know, want to be clear. What exactly does that mean to you?
Well, I would say, like, as far as wanting to make it in my field, I tried for years to like make photography my full time, you know, my job. And you know, the story is pretty beautiful. Like, I was actually just working as a delivery driver, and you know, funny enough, like, my mom worked at a Greek restaurant on South Street when she was in college at Temple, and I was making a delivery from them. They're called South Street Souvlaki, and I thought, man, I wonder if South Street Sam is available on Instagram. I found it. It was available. I parked that handle, and then, I just saved up a little more from doing delivery. I bought whatever equipment I wanted and needed, and then I just went all in. I was like, you know what? I really want to make it in this field. I'd never, you know, taken social media that seriously before, and I was like, what if I just did it every day for a year, and took no days off? Like, what if I just didn't hold back? And definitely the most difficult thing I've ever done, like by far, it was like days where I didn't feel like it, days where it was 100 degrees outside, days where it was 10 degrees outside, you know what I mean? Like everything in between, raining, snow, whatever, you name it, just keeping up and showing up every day. It's definitely what, took my page and what I do to the next level. So I guess being consistent to me just means like, not making any excuses, like just whatever you need to do to make it in what you're doing, like just have a system and keep up with it. That's kind of what worked for me.
And so it's obvious looking at your work, hearing to you talk, that the passion behind what you do is probably more important to you. But I have to ask, I assume a lot of people ask you all the time, since you did go viral and now you have this huge platform already built for you, if someone else wanted to crack the code, is there a secret to getting there? Or, I mean, did you just tell us, was it consistency?
I don't know that there really that there's any secret. I feel like anything, if you want to be great at it, you have to put in the work and time. I don't think there's really any shortcuts to this. I would say, like, if you practice what you do for enough time, eventually you might get that big break. But like, this isn't something I started overnight, or like, like I said, I've had a camera in my hand since I was like a kid, since I was 10, 11, so as far as my opinion, I would say, like, practice, you know what I mean? Like, shout out Allen Iverson again. Like, it just like there's no real there's no shortcut really in this thing, you know what I mean? Like, I think you gotta put in the time, and something that classic that is timeless will outlast any trends or any, if you look at what I'm trying to do, it's tell a story of our street, of our city, of our neighborhood, and put Philly on the map, and really just represent, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really know that there's any, like, secrets to this. I would just say, like with anything in life, like, consistency, just sort of like putting in the time and work. I would say, that's my best advice that I could give people.
I'm glad that you made that point, that for you it's about storytelling, because just looking at your photos, what I get out of this is that Philly is fun, Philly is diverse, Philly is crazy, Philly is full of life.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Thank you for sharing your work with us. I just want one last question for you. You mentioned that you were in Morocco. Of course, you mentioned that AI visit where you guys got to chop it up a little bit. Is there anything else big coming up for you, or like the next time somebody wants to catch you on South Street, when might that be?
I'll be out there tonight.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm about to go shoot tonight. So I'll see y'all out there, you know what I mean?
That's that consistency, y'all. Sam,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us a little piece of your time here on Philadelphia Live. I have appreciated it so much. All right,
Of course,
you
thanks
guys.
for having me.
No problem, no problem. You guys out there streaming with us, I'm really excited that we got to do that. Like I said, that was like my #1 goal when I first got this job. I knew that I wanted to interview South Street Sam, so I'm glad we were able to make it happen. We got another great interview coming up for you all as well. Now, he mentioned that he's going to be out there tonight. We know that there is a big Phillies game going on right now, which, by the way, the Miami Marlins did score. But that's something that's going on tonight. This weekend is going to be absolutely crazy. I want to talk to you about some of the things that you can get out and do in Philly if you want to make some plans with family, friends, and the like. We'll touch base with Abby from Fox 29 when we come back. right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You guys had a ball with Sammy, and now I'm bringing in another great guest. Abigail Shashut is here to bring us an idea of what you can do this weekend in Philadelphia. You do these videos all the time on social media. I had to get you here on Philadelphia Live. Let's talk to the people. What's going on in the city?
Listen, there's so much going on this weekend. It's actually insane. As I was gathering everything, I was like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. But you know what? I compiled that information for you guys, so you don't have to go through what I did. But anyway, starting from tonight, right? We have the Eraserhood Fest. Now that's going on right now, and it ends around 11 p.m. So listen, it's okay if you can't get out there tonight, because tomorrow there's so much. Now, we all know about all the sports stuff and everything going on, but there's a lot of music, a lot of food stuff going on for these festivals. And listen, we all know how traffic can get in Philly already when it comes to these sports. I'm sure you've seen that, Judea.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not looking forward to it either. What can we do?
That's the biggest thing that comes to mind when we think of all these festivals. But the thing is, your best bet would be to take some type of public transportation, park at a SEPTA station, and take the train down, whatever you can do. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So first we have on Saturday, the Fishtown's 4th annual Music and Arts Festival. Now listen, this is all family fun, food, music, everything you can think of. Now, a lot of this festival is free, but there are some ticketed events. But listen, if you want to be in the atmosphere, if you just want to have some time with your family, some time with your friends, you know, that's somewhere to go. And then we have another music festival. That's the Sing Us Home in Manayunk. Now, this one's been going on for a while. This one focuses more on that punk rock acoustic music. And they have headliners like the Menzingers, the Mountain Goats, Dave House, and the Mermaids, and plenty of other artists. So listen, either one of these sound like great options. I mean, if you love music, hey, something to check out. But we do have more food-centered festivals as well. At Peddler's Village, there's the Strawberry Festival. Do you like strawberries? Well, if you do like strawberries, there's a lot of strawberry themed food.
I'm having some trouble here in my eyepiece. You said, what would I do with strawberries? If what?
No, if you like strawberries, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of strawberries
I eat them every single day. Actually, it's my favorite fruit.
Yes, well, since it is, I mean, you might want to head over to Peddler's Village because they have a whole bunch of strawberry-themed foods and drinks, including something called the Strawberry Barbecue Brisket Sandwich. I found that really interesting. I was like, you know? I mean, if you haven't had it before, you can have it then. And they have a whole bunch of other music, once again, lots of food and everything. And then we move down to South Street. Now listen, from the 100th block to the 700th block of South Street, there's so much going on. This is a part of their Spring Fest. I mean, listen, we have a culture fest, Brauhaus Schmitz Mayfest. Now, this is a German-based fest. Lots of singing, lots of dancing, everything that you can think of. And then we have the Queen and Rook Ren Fair, the Record Riot Vinyl Party. So once again, another one for the music fans. And then free comic books. Now, I feel like a lot of this older media has been coming back, like free comic books in general, and then a lot of vinyls. But that's not the only vinyl party that's happening. There's also VinylCon coming to our city. Now, listen, this convention has gone all over the US. It's been to Baltimore, LA, and a couple other places. And this brings together a whole bunch of music collectors to really embrace that older media, physical media. We've seen among Gen Z that there's a whole lot of this comeback of vinyl and more like of that physical recorded music. So I can tell you that does sound exciting if you're especially interested in those types of media. And a couple more things. We have the Kentucky Derby Fest coming up, right? Obviously, we're in Philadelphia. We're not going to make it to the Churchill Downs. But guess what? You can still be in somewhat of an atmosphere by going to one of the watch parties, whether it be in the city at Ballers or Sunset Social on the rooftop, or better yet, in the suburbs at the Andalusia Historic House, Gardens and Arboretum, their garden party, or another watch party in Glen Mills. Listen, there's something happening almost everywhere for this one. And one more thing, if you want to have more of a low-key night and you're not much of a festival or big crowd goer, listen, you can always go see a musical. Shucked is in its last couple nights, Sang's Hair Salon is going on until May 10th. And then the 1776, the musical, is going on until the end of the month. So listen, there's so much for everybody. And then one more thing, if you want some jazz, you can get jazz at Coffee, Cream, and Dreams. That's like, I think it's like a co-space. I have to double check, but listen, there will be jazz there regardless of what it is. So there's a whole lot to check out.
A great place to go.
Yes, absolutely. Music lovers, sports, they have it all.
And I just want to remind people, you bring them all of this all of the time on your social media platforms. Tell people where they can find you.
Yes, I am on Instagram and TikTok, Abby Chocolato. Go ahead and check those out. I'm trying to bring you all of these events every single weekend. Now listen, I try to put it out as early as possible, but as you know, there are so many festivals, so much stuff going on. And listen, I will try my best to get everything that you need to know for your weekend as soon as possible.
And you know what, you guys out there watching, maybe there's a PR specialist watching. If you have an idea that maybe, or an event that Abigail hasn't seen yet, I mean, just send it along. You might be surprised. Maybe it'll be in her next roundup. But I really appreciated you joining us. And I'm just going to be transparent for the people. You also saved the day. This right here, you guys, it's called an earpiece. I was having problems with it probably this entire segment, and Abigail, I want to let you know you carried. You did a great job. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for having me, and enjoy your weekend. I hope you're going to one of those events. I hope so.
Auntie is tired, Abby. I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to put my feet up and just rub them together, and I want to go to sleep.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's been a busy week.
Yes, it has. Maybe on Sunday I might get out. I actually really want to see what the run is going to be like. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of people outside. 10 miles. 10 miles.
I can't do it, but thank you to the people who can. Abigail, thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you.
Towards the beginning there of her telling us all the different things to do, she mentioned that maybe public transit was going to be a great idea for you guys. And I want to let you know that SEPTA put together this post on Instagram. It was absolutely hilarious, but it's their way of getting you guys to use their buses, their public transit this weekend, because again, so much is going on. Like, the streets are going to be clogged for sure. Is there any way that we could turn the audio off? Because we bet such firewood. Like, what? I am screaming. But this is a real post on SEPTA Philly on their Instagram. Again, they're just asking everybody to make sure that you guys get out there. If you want to have fun, consider taking the bus. It's not expensive at all. You'll get to where you're trying to go. I've ridden the transit before. Actually, I do it every single day. It's not bad at all. So again, clean on the outside. Funny. All right, so let's move things along. While we're in the vein of talking about good news, I mean, we had Sam from South Street giving us an idea, walkthrough of his photography journey. And then, of course, we got to hear from Abigail some of the fun things to do out around town. I want to get out to another one of our reporters, Shawnette Wilson. Shawnette, I hear that there was a celebration earlier today. They are celebrating all graduating seniors. It's my favorite time of year, but walk us through it. What exactly happened?
So Judea, it is the Mayor's Office of Youth Engagement. So that is like, you know, the department of the city that had put on this event earlier today. So it was Decision Day, which is super exciting. They were celebrating seniors in the district who, you know, will be graduating soon and taking that next big step in adulthood. So it's whether they're going to college or they're going to, you know, serve our country and join the military, or they may be taking a gap year or just going straight into the workforce. Either way, it was a big celebration simply for them graduating high school, you know, nearly completing 12th grade. Someone said earlier today, because that is a big deal, especially for, you know, young people in our city. who tend to first face a lot of adversity. So we were there. It happened in City Hall today, and I would say maybe 17 young people received certificates, and a total of 25, though some others were recognized for different things. So Shania Bennett is the director of the Mayor's Office of Youth Engagement, and so she organized this event, and it was beautiful. You know, they could see in the video they had, you know, graduation signs up. You know, they were taking pictures with each other. They also provided like pizza and things for the kids and, you know, their family members who may have come out. Actually talked to one young man. He's a 12th grader, and his name is Samir. He's going to be going to Temple, and he was one of the honorees today. Here's what he had to say.
Become a criminal justice or the thrive in criminal justice, but I also want to pursue an acting career, and I already got like connections. I already have connections and everything from like different interns and stuff and shadow days.
Just celebrate them for simply making a decision and being committed and finishing the 12th grade, which is a big deal, especially in Philadelphia.
So that last person was Shania Bennett, like I said, who's the director of the Mayor's Office of Youth Engagement. She had also shared that one of the young people being honored tonight, Judea, he lost his father this year. You know, as he's a senior in high school and still pushed through that and is going to be taking that next big step. So it's just always a good feeling to be able to do, you know, a good story, celebrating young people, you know, for doing the right thing, facing adversity, but still, as Shania put it, managing to cross the finish line. So just a pretty big deal of a night for them. And like I said, it was good to see them with all smiles. We heard from Samir, who is going to be going to Temple. He is from Philadelphia, obviously, if he's in school here. But he'll be going to college locally, but he's also going to stay on campus. There was a young girl who will be going to Spelman, HBCU in Atlanta. There was another young lady who is going to Newman, and she has a full ride. So these are kids who are doing really well with the support of their families, and also just wonderful for the city to be honoring them tonight.
Shawnette, first I have to say my eyes stopped when I saw the young lady in the Howard University sweatshirt. That's my alma mater.
Yes.
I love to see it.
Wait a minute, I missed her. Okay, there were so many of them. I didn't even see her. Okay.
So, you know, I love to see that one. Of course, always shout out to all the students who chose schools right here in Pennsylvania. You guys are going to get an incredible education. But I also want to take a quick second. You mentioned that young man, you say he lost a parent, and this is right around the time where he's getting ready to graduate. Let's all, I mean, try to put yourself back in high school. Scary, I know, right? But when graduation was coming around, a lot of kids, this is hard for them. They're realizing that they're going to be leaving their friends. But if you also had a hard loss like that, just trying to navigate it all at the same time is pretty crazy. But clearly he has a great head on his shoulders because he made the decision. He's been doing the work. Obviously, he has the test scores, and now is moving on to higher education. So very good on him.
Yeah, that's a very big challenge to deal with, and I can't imagine having to do that, especially, you know, if you're going to be going away. I know you mentioned, like, you know, we're always happy when, you know, kids stay local or stay in the state and support universities, but I am also a big fan of leaving home and going away. And not that my home was horrible, it was great, but, you know, it just gives you a different perspective. You get to see different people, perhaps not the same people that you've spent, you know, perhaps kindergarten through 12th grade with, or even just the last 4 years. But back to your point about that particular young man, you know, I can't imagine even if, you know, you were going away to school and the weight of that as you go along. But some people, you know, some young people are resilient and they're very strong. And, you know, maybe perhaps what I would hope is that he feels that, you know, his dad is looking down on him and, you know, pushing him through. I don't know that, but that is my positivity thinking here. But yeah, congratulations to all of them, right? And I mean, to take their Friday night and to come out to a ceremony, because it was a ceremony. They didn't just get certificates. You know, they had speakers come out and kind of like give them encouragement. There's a young man by the name of Emmanuel Clark, and he is, you know, widely known in Philadelphia and on social media as Manny215. He has a big social media following. A lot of the young people look up to him. he was here to speak to them just about committing to a goal, being disciplined. So they heard from him, and then they also had some other speakers, some young people who graduated in recent years, like, even just last year or the year before, who have started this process or perhaps gone through it and, had to change their plans because, we also know that sometimes making a decision when you're very young, you get into it and you realize like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. So there was a young lady named Nija who, has gone on and said to them, like, don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to, if college doesn't work, make a plan before you leave and change directions. All great advice, right? Because that happened to me. I changed my major halfway through college, and here I am.
Funny enough, I actually changed my major too. Shawnette, I was supposed to be in public relations.
Yeah.
And then I learned about something called crisis management. And I said, oh no, I just want to tell stories.
And I actually was, my first major was advertising and commercial design. So I wanted to like write jingles and do storyboards for commercials. And turns out that they didn't have enough people on the creative side of the program. They all wanted to be in sales. I can't sell anything. So, it was like, what am I going to do? And I was already, and I was already volunteering for our college TV station. And they were like, you're really good at this. You should try it. Again, here I am.
So as she mentioned, that young lady who said, don't be afraid to pivot, clearly you got a couple of great examples right in front of you of people who decided to pivot and it worked out. Hey.
And can I also say, like, Samir, the kid that we heard from in the interview, I interviewed his mom too, and I said, hey, this is a great kid that you have, right? He was saying how he just wants to make his mom proud, right? He's a good role model for his siblings, and also how he hopes that to stay on the path of having God guide him. So he was very grounded. And I said to his mom, I said, what is your advice to other parents who may have kids who are going to be stepping out, graduating in the next coming years or even next year? And she said something that I thought was really great. She said, support them. Sometimes as parents, you have your idea of what you want them to do. And sometimes, or most times, it's good to step back and let them, take their own path and follow their own way. And you support them, of course, be there if it doesn't work out, but not to basically encourage them to just go and do what, we want them to do. So that was great advice, I thought.
Incredible advice.
Yeah.
And clearly she raised her child right, so I will listen to whatever she tells me that it is that you need to do moving ahead. Shawnette, thank you so much for making some time for us here on Philadelphia Live. We're going to see you again at 10 o'clock with maybe some more, right? Yep. All right, perfect.
Absolutely. Congratulations again to all the kids.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shawnette. And I just want to remind you guys out there too that this event wasn't just for graduating seniors who want to go on to college. We also know that they were honoring anybody who wanted to go to trade school, technical training, anybody who was going to go on into the military, or even just go straight into the workforce. What was most important was that you made it all the way through high school. You got to this point. And I just, for what it's worth, for some kids, I don't know that this is the case for any of those kids at that event, but for some kids, they're not going to hear the congratulations, you did it. They might not have somebody come into graduation for them. So to have an event like this at City Hall where they can go and they can hear someone tell them that they are proud of them, I can tell you right now, it makes a world of a difference. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a lot more news coming for you. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. I'm Judea Murray. If you've ever gone out and traveled and you decided to take a plane, like, let's be honest, we probably looked at the Spirit Airlines tickets. They're usually really affordable. You get from point A to point B. You might not have all the bells and whistles like you would on let's say a Delta flight, for example, but the important thing is your luggage, you guys get to where you're trying to go and you don't break the bank to do it. Spirit Airlines has been a great option for a lot of people who want those affordable plane tickets. Now the big question is Spirit Airlines going to be a thing of the past? And the answer really depends on who you ask. So Spirit, they put out their own statement and they said, hey, no, they actually declined to comment. They did say Spirit is operating as usual. You're taking a look at the comment right there on your screen. We also talked to PHL, the airport here in Philadelphia. They say they've seen the articles, they've seen the rumors that Spirit is planning on, shutting it down its services, but they say as of right now, Spirit is still operating out of their airport. We also talked to Atlantic City's airport. A spokesperson told us that currently they have not received any notice from Spirit Airlines regarding service changes at the Atlantic City International Airport. They say they're aware of those articles, those reports, social media posts, but they cannot confirm or comment on any speculation. So they're saying Spirit hasn't said anything to us, so as far as we're concerned, they're still in business. So also the president has weighed in, and he's kind of suggesting that maybe it's the opposite. He has said that he would be considering a taxpayer-funded takeover if it were, and I quote, a good deal. So what were we talking about here? Spirit Airlines was having a little trouble financially, and I believe that they were trying to secure a $500 million government lifeline. They weren't able to do that in time. And so the rumor that's been put out there are multiple big news organizations reporting that they will be going out of business. But again, according to Spirit, they haven't put any statement out like that, any public statement out like that. So big question is, what's going to happen? How soon could it happen? President Donald Trump is thinking maybe tonight, maybe sometime this weekend that deal that he's talking about could happen. I want to listen in. There was an interview a little earlier on Fox 29 Philadelphia where we had an expert talking to us about why it's actually needed for Spirit Airlines, why we need that friendly competition amongst airlines, what it would mean for our ticket prices if they were to go away. Let's play that for you.
Let's bring in Dan Ricardo, financial expert, University of San Diego finance professor. Hey, Dan.
What's up, Jason? Hi, Dawn. How you guys doing?
Hey, Dan.
Yeah, we usually see on Mondays. It must be a big deal here on a Friday. There must be a big money story out there. And so Spirit, low-cost option for a lot of people. You get what you pay for. It's, there's been some Spirit horror stories out there, but at least it was an option for people. So how did we get to this point?
Yeah, the Spirit Airlines where you had to bring a lawn chair, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, it did serve well. My kids used it all the time. And in fact is Terminal D, Terminal E here in Philly might be a little emptier tomorrow, Jason. It looks like around 3 o'clock or so is the information we have now. Unless anything changes, Spirit could be out of business. And they've gone bankrupt twice in the last 2 years. So this is not necessarily a surprise. They've had 2 failed mergers in the last 2 years. Jet fuel jet fuel is about 40% of an airline's operating costs, or at least it is for Spirit. And as you know, fuel prices have tripled when it comes to jet fuel. So all in all, they've been dealt a really bad hand. Some of it's self-inflicted, but it looks like Spirit, RIP maybe.
So Dan, I think a lot of people are wondering if I have a Spirit Airlines ticket right now and they stop flying, will I get my money back? What happens? Is there any recourse?
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down for you, make it real easy. So if you have a Spirit ticket that has not been used and they cease operations, your flight will be canceled. And at that point, if you paid for it by your credit card, and I hope you did, you can do what's called a credit card chargeback. Basically, contact your credit card company immediately and tell them you want the charge removed. That's your best bet for getting any money back as they go into liquidation. Rebook as soon as you can. Some good news, guys. United today and American today announced that they're going to be doing their best. We call them in this business rescue fares. They're going to be providing discounted fares to their customers for routes that Spirit does, so that you might be able to get yourself on one of those. You want to do that, rebook as soon as you can. If you bought travel insurance, some travel insurance policies do cover these events, some don't. So you're going to have to read the fine print.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about bailing out, because I was thinking you can't bail out this airline, because then what happens? Then the next airline that needs help. It was kind of like the auto industry, 15, 20 years ago.
You're absolutely right, Jason. And it sets this sort of dangerous precedent. We'll see what happens over the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if the last minute a bigger carrier comes in and throws them a lifeline. That is possible. And Jason, you might remember, you were here on the West Coast. I think it was a few years back. AHA Airlines was a West Coast regional. Same thing. They went out of business, very abruptly, and their routes were sold off. So I suspect at some point, at least their routes get sold off to other airlines.
So when might we know exactly what's going to happen?
I say, as of this point, it looks pretty certain that this airline stops flying tomorrow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. R.I.P. Spirit. So you still have Frontier, Allegiant, Avelo, Breeze as some low-cost options for people.
All right, Dan Ricciardo, thank you.
There it is.
Appreciate your insight.
Appreciate it, Dan. That's.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
You too.
And as he says, as early as tomorrow, which everybody in the room just said, whoa, what? As he says that, I want to remind you that we reached out to Spirit. First, they said that they could not comment further, but they also mentioned that Spirit was operating as usual. And remember, I told you we also reached out to the airports. We reached out to Philly's International Airport. They say they haven't heard anything from Spirit. Their flights are still coming in and out. We also talked to Atlantic City's airport. They say the same thing. So I just wanted to make sure that we touch base on, yes, there are these rumors, yes, there are these articles. We won't know what actually happens, you guys, really until it happens. Now, real quick, we got a couple minutes left before we have to take a quick break. President Donald Trump, remember yesterday, he signed that executive order that was talking about retirement savings accounts. He also launched a new website, TrumpIRA.gov, and it was to make sure that working class people who go on to decide to opt into a retirement program would have some money left for them. If their employer didn't offer them a good savings program like 401k, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, this would be a way that they can still save as they work, and when it's time to retire, enjoy the fruits of their labor. So earlier today, he actually spoke at the Villages Charter School. This is out in Florida. He loves Florida. He spoke this afternoon to spotlight his working family tax cut legislation, which, by the way, offers tax relief for working families and small businesses. And it also strengthens Medicaid and food assistance. I want to let you listen into just a little piece of what he had to say out there.
It's great to be here. I'm thrilled to be back in the home of a great place. I love Florida. We love Florida. With all of the very proud, great American patriots of the Villages. Are we happy with the Villages? We like the Villages. Now, I shouldn't be here. There was just an attempt, I won't use the word, an attempt, they say, on my life. I should be indoors at a secure facility where I can quietly, beautifully, and safely play out my term, destroying everything that comes in our way. Like bad countries that want to get nuclear weapons, we'll take care of that. So they want me to be in a secure place. I said, what's more secure than the Villages? Now, I heard the seniors were waiting at the Villages, and there's no way we got like 97% of the vote. Remember all those frauds? I said, whoa. Remember Sleepy Joe and Kamala? They came up, oh, we love you more than Trump. And you said, no, you don't. You don't love us more. You're a bunch of phony bastards. But as you know, this is the single largest community of seniors anywhere in the world. And frankly, And frankly, it's the largest crowd you've ever had assembled. You know, it's very interesting. They built this, but when I first started, they didn't have this. We had a little tiny room, so we went outside. We had a tremendous crowd, but I don't know if you see what's going on. They have an overflow room that's bigger than this. Why the hell didn't I go there to start off with? What's going on? And then they have outside, they have thousands and thousands of people, and we love them all. We love them all. So we're here to celebrate a policy that benefits every American senior all across this land, and it's called No Tax on Social Security. It's done. It's done. You know, I took a poll at one of the events. I said no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, or no tax on Social Security, all of them. So let's do it now. Let's do another poll. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax. So what you do is you're going to cheer for the one you like the most of the three, all right? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security. I'm telling you, Dr. Phil, that's the one they like. This Social Security, I thought that was maybe a sleeper. This is more than a sleeper. No, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. That's what we like, right? So our great, big, beautiful bill was the largest tax cut in American history. And as a result, more than 51 million American seniors now pay a federal tax rate of 0. 0. And this isn't talk. This isn't, I'm going to get it for you. Look, these guys up here, front row Joes, they're all over. I can't get rid of them. What are you, 219? I think they're 219 rallies. They are sick individuals, but we love them. I don't know what the hell they do, but they have money someplace because they do a lot of traveling. Look at the front row Joes. But we provide seniors, and we have a record-setting average tax deduction this year of more than $7,500. Think of that. You know, it's been amazing. And on all of them, people, and I've seen it even on the fake news. Look at all the fake news back there. What? That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fakers. Did you see where they had a study done, and Trump on the evening news gets 93% bad publicity, 93. And yet, I won in a landslide. Now, you know what that means? Now think of it.
All right, you guys, mind you, this is the first event, this first public event that he has spoken at since the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, in which they say that a man attempted to assassinate him. So this was a really big deal. Yes, talking about the no tax, on Social Security, but also because he made his first public appearance at a speaking engagement. So that crowd in Florida considered themselves to be very lucky to get to hear him speak. So we'll be continuing to talk about a lot of different national news. Of course, what's going on in Iran, the potential for the ceasefire deal to be over, which means hopefully that the war is over. Is that actually the case? Question mark. We'll figure that out. But I also want to remind you that while we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, we also have to talk about the price of gas, because we are seeing extremely high prices. The biggest high since I think in 4 years. And then we're also seeing like the biggest jump in prices like overnight. So really big deal for those of you who are trying to fill up your tanks. I asked you all a question, I posed it to you earlier. How are you stomaching that big price? We'll talk about that when we come back. All right, you guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. I brought up Jake Leonard from our digital team here. We're talking about all things that you guys care about. Gas price definitely high on the list.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we are seeing astronomical prices. I keep saying this, but it's even bigger now because overnight we're jumping cents, and literally every cent counts. So I wanted to know, how are people stomaching these high costs? What are you telling yourself? What are you doing mentally in order to prepare for more money to fly out of your wallet?
Yeah, so as you know, we always do question of the day, a poll. So fox29.com/go vote under the Fox Local tab, you can find our question, and that is, how are you dealing with these high gas prices? So if you look at the results right there, in the lead we have not looking at the price, so what Aaron did, that's at 47%. Fill it up halfway, so 27% of people agree with Jody. Not driving, 20%, and then other, leave a comment, 6%, although we have a lot more than 6% leaving comments. A lot of people have opinions on this. So the first person said, bought a Tesla, which I actually think that's really interesting. You know, electric vehicles are starting to become more popular. This is a perfect time to maybe make that purchase if you were kind of on the fence about it. So I'm sure more and more people are doing that if they can afford it, because they are still very, very pricey.
Yeah.
So someone said, I've never owned a car in my adult life. I've been taking SEPTA my entire life. Living in the city and relying on SEPTA has saved me tens of thousands of dollars on gas, insurance, maintenance, parking, ticket expenses, and so much more. So yeah, I can relate to that. I don't have a car. I rely completely on public transportation, like you were saying earlier, the bus, the subway, all of it, and it does save so many costs.
I was driving actually before I moved to Philadelphia, and I decided not to bring my car down. So I 100% agree with this person here. For me, I weighed what would cost more, parking and the gas and the, it just made more sense to go ahead and take the subway and take the bus.
It definitely adds up. Like, that's moving to a city like Philadelphia, like that is definitely something to consider.
If you can do it, great.
Yep. So a lot of people are saying driving a lot less. This person said, honestly, just dealing with it. I need premium too, but I gotta get to work somehow. Some people do have that mindset, like, what can I do?
Yeah, I gotta spend the money one way or the other.
Someone's put this little Flintstones video.
I wish we could share memes with you guys later.
Someone said, I fill up at half. Yeah, planning trips, so not running around. Someone says, only going to work and going home. So a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on this.
I don't know if I could say this, but I saw someone say, I siphon my neighbor's gas. That's a crime, y'all.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But very funny response.
Yes.
You guys keep weighing in. Jake, remind people how they can do that.
Yes, so it's posted all on all our socials, so X, Facebook, Instagram, and then if you go to fox29.com/go vote, it's under the Fox Local tab. You can put your vote in, but if you want to leave a comment, hit us up on our social media.
Please do, you guys. You're hilarious. Please keep weighing in. We love to see the comments as they come in. We may be able to give you a shout out like we just did these last couple of folks. Jake, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to remind you guys that while we're talking about the price of gas, while we talk about the Strait of Hormuz, while we're talking about the Iran war, I want to make it clear that President Donald Trump has said repeatedly that yes, gas prices may be high now, but it's not going to stay that way. He's saying that this is a necessary means to an end, and that if we just keep going on, at some point we're going to see those gas prices that we would like to see. And speaking of the president, he's actually speaking live right now out in Palm Beach, Florida. This is the Forum Club of Palm Beach dinner. Again, he is addressing the crowd live. Let's listen in to see where he's at in his speech.
Lincoln Memorial, and they'd go home in a casket. They'd call their parents and say, I'm sorry, your son's been killed. And we moved some very strong people into the area. And in a period of a month, it was much better. 2 months, it was better yet. And now it's considered a very safe city. Restaurants which were closing all over town. They were even dangerous if you got there. They'd rob the interior of the restaurant. They'd go and raise your hands, give you money. It was terrible. And it's a very interesting statistic, Mayor. So 90% of the crime is committed by 2% of the people. And that's really good, you know, because that means you can solve the problem. If it was 25% of the people, that's a tough thing. 2% of the people commit 92% actually of the crime. It's incredible. It's great because you get rid of them and you don't have it. We took out over 5,000 hardened career criminals, numerous murderers, and they're gone. They're back in their countries or they're in jails. We've secured the largest reduction in drug prices in American history. Under my most favored nation agreements, we're delivering your record-setting discounts with price differences of 400, 500, and even 600% lower. And what that is most favored nation. We were the highest priced drug nation anywhere, prescription drugs anywhere in the world, by far the highest. A drug that would sell for, like the fat drug, you know, my friend became a very famous, he's begging me not to announce his name, but I use him as an example. He's very smart, very fat. And he was in London and he called it the fat. I said, I get one of those fat shots. And I said, it's not working. He's become very famous because he's really the one that got me onto this. It was like crazy. He said, in London, I buy it for $87. In New York, it's $1,300. The same exact, and he's very smart, very rich, actually. Highly neurotic. He's a neurotic guy. Highly neurotic. Most neurotic people, they're either really wealthy or they fail badly, you know. You want controlled neuroses. His is not controlled, but he's smart. He checked out the company. He said it's the exact same drug from the exact same factory, made in the same plant. Everything was except the price. One was $87 in London, and one was $1,300 in New York. He said, what's going on? And actually, it had a little bit of an impact, and I went to the drug companies. I went all over. They've been looking at this for years, but there was no way you get the drug companies to do it. I got them to do it. I did a lot of bad things to them, but I got them. But they didn't care because they said there's no way to get the countries to do it. You had to have the country because in London, a pill that was selling for $10 would sell for $100 in the U.S. In Berlin, $5 compared to $87, $90, $95. A tremendous, sometimes 10 times, maybe more than that. So they said, you'll never get the country, sir, but we're with you. They didn't know this was going to happen. I said, I'll get the countries 100%. So I called up, you might have seen this. I mean, I've said it a couple of times. I called up the countries, and I got France. That's Emmanuel Macron. Beautiful accent. I said, Emmanuel, you're going to have to lower your drug prices in the United States because you're making it impossible for us. I mean, your prices are low and our prices are high, and you're going to have to, no, Donald, I will not do that. You see, because the world is bigger than the United States, it's really not as bad for them as it sounds. If they double their price, we can lower our price to them because of the size. You know, it's a world situation. The whole world was ripping us off. We were paying 10 times more, 5 times more, crazy. And so I said, no, Emmanuel, you will do it 100%. No, I will not do it. So if he had a pill that sold for $10 and he had to sell it for $20, that's a big increase, right? But I said, it's not fair, Emmanuel, because we're not fair. You will do it, Emmanuel. You will do it. He said, no, I won't. I said, here's what I'm going to do, Emmanuel. If you don't do it, I'm going to put a 200% tariff on your wines and champagnes that you sell into the United States, and it's effective on Monday morning. Donald, like I said, I will do it. I'd be glad to. So I did that with all the countries, and every country agreed. I'll tell you who can't believe it, the drug companies. They said, what you did is impossible to do. But I do it. I do a lot of things that are impossible to do. Like becoming president 3 times. Like winning 3 races. Anyway, so we have the lowest prices anywhere in the world. We went from the highest. It's a really big thing. And frankly, that should win us the midterm. But, the press hates to cover it. So, but people now know. So you can get drug prices. We go from the highest priced drugs in the world to the lowest. It's an amazing thing. And we have to go buy it, it's TrumpRx.gov, and that's been named by Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz. They're fantastic. They're doing a great job. I had nothing to do with that one, Joe. I had nothing to do with that one. And I had not much to do with the airport. That was Meg and you and everybody else, I tell you. That was... It's not nice when you call up and say, hey, would you name an airport after me? You know, they approached me with the road first and then the airport, and it's just a great honor. But the TrumpGov.com is setting every record in the book, and they're buying things for a fraction of the price. And today I'm thrilled to announce that starting on July 1st, we'll provide Medicare patients with coverage for weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Zepbound, Wegovy. It will be available for, listen to this, $50 a month. And we're cutting, as you know, and as you, I hope, know, we cut the insulin price down to $25 a month, which was, it was in many cases, it was $1,000. And I don't know if it affects the people here, but it was thousands of dollars, and now it's down to $25. We got it down. I did that really in my first term. It was terrible because I did it in the third year of my first term. I got it down to $25. And then they told me, sir, it will take statutorily, it'll take 2 years, one of those deals, it'll take 2 years before it can go to that price. I said, I better win the election. If somebody else wins the election, they're going to take credit for the insulin. And lo and behold, we had some problems with the election, a disgraceful thing. And I saw Biden up there. We have a $25 insulin. I said, I did that. Can you believe it? I was seething. I was not a happy person. In fact, I said, I think we're going to have to run to set the record straight. But we got it down to $25. It was amazing. Everyone knows we did it. We actually have been given good credit. It's nice to be given good credit when you do things that are good. And I guess sometimes they'll say they don't give me enough credit, and then I'll be in the Oval Office, this beautiful, most powerful, most incredible office in the world. People walk in and they say, wow, the biggest people in the world, even the Queen the other day, she walked in with King Charles, Camilla, she said, wow, this is the Oval Office. I said, when the Queen of England says that, that's very cool. But people do, the biggest business people, the biggest politicians. And, it's an amazing place, and we keep it well. We fix it. One of the nice parts about being in real estate, I give it the Mar-a-Lago treatment. We fix Mar-a-Lago. We make it better than it's ever been. It's better than it was the day it was built. So we have a lot of fun. By the way, the King and Queen were fantastic. They were here. What great representatives they are for their country. Really high quality. When he got up and made the speech with that beautiful accent, I said, well, that's the one thing I'll never have is that accent. I'd like to have that accent, but no, it was very elegant. He's a very elegant person, very good person. So in 4 years, the last administration took in much less than $1 trillion. And in 11 months, so you got 4 years, less than $1 trillion. And in 11 months, we took in as an investment where countries and people, rich people are investing. In 11 months, we took in over $18 trillion, which is a record. And we passed the largest tax cuts in American history. And, you have your 1 year deduction that people never thought would be possible. Instead of over a 38-year period, you're taking it in 1 year. And nobody believed a thing like that was possible. I did that actually for a shorter period of time in the first administration. I think we had the greatest economy in history in my first administration. And in the second, I think we're blowing it away. But we had to make a detour. I'm sorry. We had to make a detour to Iran. Everything will snap back. We were down to less than $2 for gasoline in Iowa. I was in Iowa 2 months ago, just before the little skirmish took place. Is taking place, and price for gasoline was $1.85 a gallon, and we were a lot of places were $2, some below $2, and I believe it'll snap back very, very quickly as soon. There's so much oil. These ships are loaded up with oil. They can't get out of the strait. I think we're going to have it solved. I think everyone in this room is going to be very happy and very impressed. Our tax cuts supported an estimated 408,000 full-time Florida jobs. You know that. And we delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors, which I think is the last one. I wasn't sure if that was the biggest one, but I can tell you in Florida it's the biggest one. No tax on Social Security for our seniors. We virtually eliminated the estate tax or death tax for people with small business and farms. So many farmers where they leave their farm, they're land rich and cash poor. They have a farm that's of value. They leave it to their children, their great children who they love so much. If they don't love their children, I say don't bother. It's nothing much. But if you do, if you want to leave your farm or your small business to your children, we have no estate tax. We have, they call it a death tax. That's what it is. And just, pretty amazing thing. In the case of farms, it's a way of life. And the parents would be on the farm. The kids would grow there and they love it. They wouldn't do anything else. They would rather do that than anything else. And they used to get hit with a tax, a big tax that they couldn't pay. So they go out and borrow money from the local bank or whatever. And they weren't able to pay and they would lose their farm. And in many cases, they would commit suicide. Literally, they'd commit suicide. We don't have any death tax or inheritance tax anymore for the small farms and small businesses. So when you leave your business to your kid, you don't have that. And we made interest on car loans fully tax deductible so that if you borrow money, if you buy an American car only, you have to buy an American-made car. But you can borrow money from the bank. Your interest is deductible for income tax purposes. And that's a big deal that we've never seen. Middle-income people have never been big on deductions. Rich people have gotten used to deductions, but those other people haven't. We added 186,000 private sector jobs in March. Jobless claims just hit the lowest level since 1969, and more Americans are working today, as I said, than ever before. And since the election, 89 times we've hit new highs, and we're adding $9 trillion. We've added in just 11 months, we've added over $9 trillion in value to the stock markets, and people with 401ks have really, it saved marriages, actually. One policeman told me my wife thought very little of me. She felt I wasn't a man because I was a bad investor. With my 401k, I had nothing I could do about it. It was under the Biden administration. And now she thinks that I'm Warren Buffett. She said, my husband's the most incredible investor I've ever seen, and all I do is just look at the numbers every month. So it's amazing. The 401ks are incredible, incredible. Core inflation has dropped to a 5-year low. With the exception of oil prices, which is just, I think most of the people in this room understand that. As soon as it's over, it's going to drop like a rock. I think it goes below where it was because there's so much oil. It's not like it would be a problem if there wasn't a lot. There's so much oil out there. But core inflation has dropped. Grocery prices are down. Used car prices are down. Rent is down. The only thing that is up is the gasoline, and that's coming down. But, with all of this, and I say it again, we had to do this little excursion because if we didn't, if they had a nuclear weapon, this world would be, it would be a horror. It would be a world that would live in fear. And it should have been done for 47 years by other presidents and other countries, frankly, but it wasn't. They were all afraid of Iran. It's very strong, was a very strong country. We've blown the hell out of them, if you want to know the truth. But we've leashed American energy with that simple policy of drill, baby drill. And I'll tell you, we're producing more oil and gas now than we ever have at any time. And we're investing over $1.5 trillion next year in the military. And we have the strongest, the greatest military by far anywhere in the world, stronger than any other country by far. And thanks to our warriors and their allies, the Israeli Defense Forces today, the Iranian regime has none of those things that we talked about: Navy, Air Force, anti-aircraft capacity, no radar. And again, dozens of their leaders are no longer with us. They're elsewhere. Most importantly, though, thanks to our blockade. The blockade has been unbelievable. They're unable to export any energy, and they're crumbling as an economy. But I just want to say that we have now a great country that's respected again. We're a country that is winning like it's never won before, and we're going to keep it going. And I just want to thank all of the people from this area of the world. It's a great area of the world with great leaders and people, and it's people that I have a lot of respect for. But it's an area of the world that everyone's talking about, and it's an honor to be a member of this group of people, very distinguished, such distinguished people. I'm seeing so many people, the people that you read about, the people that you look up to, and they happen to be here. Speaking in front of you with Harvey, my lawyer, the lawyer. If he ever loses a case, I'll fire him so fast. But he's my lawyer, and he said, would you do it? I said, absolutely. And I know it's turned out to be great because outside they have thousands of people trying to get in, so that's a good feeling. But I just want to thank very much all of the people of West Palm Beach and Palm Beach, all of the people that we've dealt with. You are really fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, you guys, we have been listening in to the president as he delivers his address, his speech at the Palm Beaches Forum Club. Now, this is their annual dinner. I'm doing a little research in between while he's talking, and I learned that this is actually an event that happens often. Again, this is an annual event. They've had some really high-profile speakers, now having the President of the United States. They've heard from Supreme Court justices before, senators, representatives, and again, now they've got the president. And of course, this is really in his hometown. Now, tickets were $225 and they quickly sold out. So again, as you guys could see, we were showing you not just the president speaking, but also show you the crowd size. That room was absolutely packed. This is their 50th anniversary dinner that they're holding tonight. All right, so as we continue, we're going to be talking about the Iran war next. Big question is it over? Are we expecting to see maybe those gas prices coming down as he was talking about there? Well, kind of like when we were talking about Spirit Airlines and whether or not it's a thing in the past, the answer depends on who you ask. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. There's a lot of news that I could tell you about, but for some of you, I know the one thing that you are wondering is what in the world is going on with this war in Iran, and is it over? Because you're seeing the headlines, you're seeing everything out there on social media. And as I mentioned before the break, the answer to that really depends on who you talk to. So Iran has actually handed over its latest proposal for negotiations. They handed it over to the United States, so President Trump has gotten to take a look at it. I want to let you know that President Donald Trump said that he is not satisfied with it. That is a quote from him, although he didn't talk about what the proposal was lacking. And so he has sent it back. But again, if you ask the president, he says the war is over. As for other people who are looking into this, they say we're still in a shaky ceasefire deal. So as you guys remember, when that was first issued, we were supposed to have 2 weeks we have gone on into 3 weeks, and we'll see if it continues. And I call it a shaky deal because we've also been seeing in the Strait of Hormuz, there's a lot of tension. So at first, Iran was saying none of those ships could pass through. The U.S. said, hey, we don't even use the Strait of Hormuz. We don't send oil through there, so we don't even need it. And they backed out. But then there was a blockade. President Donald Trump ordered a blockade around the Strait of Hormuz. And so it's been a lot of back and forth. He said, she said. We're just trying to figure out whether or not the war is actually over. Again, President Trump is proclaiming that the war has been terminated. We know that there's been an issue also in Congress with a war powers negotiation. So let's back up. A lot of Congress members are saying they're upset with how the president has moved forward with this war, and even in starting it, saying that he didn't acknowledge or tell Congress that that's what he wanted to do. And they're saying he has to do that. Again, it's called the War Powers Resolution. And so Congress said that in order to declare war, authorize the use of force, the president has to do so within 60 days. And they say that the way he did it was unconstitutional. And so again, 60 days, that would have been up today. And that may ring true about why the president is now putting out the notion that the war has actually ended. So the deadline, it's supposed to pass. Right now, it's 9:01 here in the East Coast, here in Philadelphia, and we're expecting that this night might go by without any action and figuring out like a real concrete, is the war over or not. We also know that Congress has left town for about a week, so if the war doesn't end, what could actually happen other than just talking? So, you know, it's a big up and down. Meanwhile, the president has said that he would increase tariff charges on cars and trucks from the European Union, and he wants that to start next week at 25%. And also, we know we are keeping our eyes on the price of gas. It is skyrocketing once again here in the U.S. You and I are definitely feeling it. We've been talking to reporters about how this is happening and how people are weathering the storm across the country. And one of my big questions for you all tonight, part of my segment called What You Think, I've been asking you all, how are you stomaching the price of gas when you go to the gas station? We had a couple of different options that you could choose from. Some people saying that they just don't look at the price, and that must be nice, what a luxury. But at the same time, you know, I guess that denial there. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist, and it's all okay in my world. But then some people say that they're not letting their gas tank get past the halfway mark. And so it seems to be that's a pretty popular response as well. Some people say they've decided that they're not driving or maybe have never driven. And then other people, you know, they're weighing in with some of their jokes as well. You can weigh in on fox29.com/go-vote. Go ahead or scan the QR code on your screen. Let us know what you think. We'd love for you to be part of these numbers that you see here on the screen. Also want to remind you that you can join us in our live chats. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're also on the Fox Local app, the free Fox Local app. So if you want to weigh in with a comment, I may be able to read it out loud to our audience. So that's the latest there on the war in Iran and with gas prices. I want to move on to the Voting Rights Act. Louisiana is going through it right now. So remember on Wednesday, in a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's second majority black congressional district. They ruled it an unconstitutional gerrymander. So what that really means, it's a lot of big words to say that the Supreme Court decided that in this particular part of Louisiana, where it's majority black, that particular, as you can see there on the map there, that particular area is unconstitutional because in that area there are so many black voters that they say vote in one particular direction. It's not fair. They want to redraw the lines on the map. Now, some people are very uncomfortable with this because, as I mentioned, they're saying that a lot of those voters vote in one particular direction, which tends to be Democrat. And if the lines were redrawn, the question is, would parts of Louisiana or Louisiana as a whole be Democrat? I mean, be Republican. Sorry about that. So again, it's a big deal, but also it's a big deal because this kind of guts a really key part of the Voting Rights Act. NAACP has called the High Court's ruling a devastating blow to the landmark civil rights legislation. And then you've got some civil rights leaders like Reverend Al Sharpton saying that this is like a bullet to the Voting Rights Act and everything that he stands for as a civil rights leader. So I want to let you listen in because some Louisiana Democrats got together earlier today. They were absolutely heated. It's a really long interview there where they were talking back and forth. I'm going to try and see if we can get it on for you guys, but let's go over exactly what the problem here is with the Voting Rights Act. That might help it make a little more sense. So the VRA, we'll call it the VRA, had a significant impact with around 250,000 new black voters enrolling to vote by the end of the year of its enactment. 9 out of 13 southern states had more than 50% of African Americans registered to vote by the end of 1966. The Voting Rights Act, by the way, came to be in 1965. So Section 2 of the VRA, that is the part that they're saying was largely gutted. The second section of the act has been used to justify redistricting efforts aimed at protecting the voting power of minority groups, for largely black voters. So that provision specifically outlaws any voting practice that creates hurdles to voters on account of race or color. Again, a very big deal there. It looks like we're not going to be able to get that piece for you all, but let's move forward because I want to remind you that while those Democrats feel very uncomfortable, as I mentioned to you all, the reason why this is kind of like a up in the air thing, the reason why the Supreme Court decided to go ahead and rule the way they did, they say that the way that the maps are drawn right now is not fair, and that after the census, the latest census that we had in 2020, they realized that the way the map represents the state is not how the population is actually represented if you look at the census. So they say they want to redraw those lines so that it makes more sense with the people who actually currently live in those areas right now and how they would vote if, you know, if it actually reflected their political interests. So I hope that I helped you guys make sense of that. There's a lot that we could talk about, so bear with me. We didn't have our sports hit, but I want to remind you all that earlier today the Eagles had their mini camp, and it's actually going to go on till tomorrow too. And this is really big because this is the 2026 rookie mini camp that we're talking about here. It's being held at the Jefferson Health Training Complex, and it features the entire 8-man draft class, undrafted free agents, and select tryout players. So everybody's getting their opportunity to show themselves approved. And keep in mind, some of those undrafted players still have to show that they deserve to be on the team, they deserve a spot, they deserve a number. So right now they're looking at, the coaches there are looking at whether or not they want to sign any of the remaining draft picks. And then, you know, we've got rookies like Makai Lemon. We've talked to you about him yesterday. He had to make sure that he would be able to wear the legendary number 9. I want to let you listen into the I'm still thinking about Atlanta. I want to let you listen into the Eagles coach on what's going on with the mini camp.
Yeah, obviously we're all excited. My kids are excited. They get to. I know that one thing they get really excited about is that they get to stay up a little bit later to watch into a couple periods or into a halftime of the Sixers game. So yeah, it's an exciting time. All right, it's an exciting time, and we're pulling for them and wishing them luck, and looking forward to tomorrow. Yeah, again, like you do your homework, you go through the process, and then you get to see these things before even the players get in here, right? With the way they present in front of the coaching staff and with me. Yeah, I think he's just got a good confidence, calm confidence, conviction about the way he goes about it, very detailed. And it's been fun. It's been fun sitting in the back of the room, listening to him talk, listening to him install, and building the connection with the guys. And he's done a good job so far. And just got to keep stacking days upon days. Yeah, again, your processes change and tweak over time. You're constantly thinking of ways to get better. I think at the end of the day, though, this weekend with these rookies is about establishing, the behaviors that are important to winning football games and trying to get those behaviors become their habits. And so we show them of what, really at the end of the day, we show them and tell them what we kind of think, the tough detail, then together. That's the easy part, right? Show and tell is easy, right, of that. Now, the hard part is being relentless at coming back to those behaviors and those actions every day, living those things, and then when there is turmoil, doubling down on those things and being aligned there. So, but it is a very important part of the process to make sure that the job description is very clear. And again, like I said, you're just trying to develop these habits that are important that result with wins and losses. So, has the process changed throughout the years as we enter year 6 into rookie minicamp as maybe in the head coach? Yeah, there's been tweaks, but the general principles and the goals of what we're trying to accomplish this weekend, remain the same. Yeah, again, just with all these guys, you're getting to know them, right? You're getting to see them, talk to them, connect with them. Again, there's a lot of information coming at them right now, but excited to have him here. Just like we said after we drafted him, excited to have him here. Really excited about that, and you talk about being able to develop habits and things like that. There's things that are brand new to him, so that's an exciting thing. And yeah, like I said, excited to have him here, and look forward to working with all these guys. Yeah, again, it's early, right? It's really early, and these guys are doing everything they can do to get themselves ready to go out there and know what to do first and foremost, so they can let their talent shine. And so both of those guys that did a nice job today, did a nice job in meetings, being able to answer questions both in position meetings and in offensive meetings. And yeah, like I said, just like you are, we're looking forward to getting to know them better, and looking forward to continuing to see them grow as players. And that's our job as coaches, is to develop these guys to help them reach another level as a player. And so that's what we're working on right now. With that, and with all the guys right now. Yeah, I really value and will miss Alec. I can't say enough good things about Alec. Really enjoyed the time that I spent with him. Gave me a great insight of the way he saw things and was able to communicate things with me. Good friend, good teammate, and I wish him the best, and I'm going to miss him. Okay. Let's see if I answer it the same. Yeah, again, you have to do different things to make sure you're looking at it from a big picture standpoint. It's just what we've decided. I've decided of what's the best decision for this football team in the off season, to make sure that they have enough time in the off season, or pardon me, after OTAs, after minicamp, in that summertime, to get the things done that they need to get done in that time. So, we've stuck to that schedule of the way we kind of go about that. Again, we've had a lot of success as far as the way our injuries and the way our health of our football team has went. And again, that doesn't mean there's not tweaks to the schedule as far as what you do, because you're constantly looking at ways to get better. But you do follow a format when things are going well, as far as, again, like I said, about how we come out of camp and into the season and all those different things. Listen, there's no shortcuts. You have to work your butt off to get better. To work your butt off, it's not just the practice time, it's the extra time that you put in as a player, as a coach, because everyone's practicing, right? What are you doing extra? That's kind of what I said to the guys today. What are you doing extra to continue to get better? But that practice time is a very important part of it as well. But there is a balance between the time that you put in with practice and then the duration of a season. And, you know, that's where we are and why we are where we are. You know, our coaches, or our scouts, pardon me, do a great job of, you know, finding tools, you know, guys that have tools in their body and guys that, you know, love the game of football and, you know, are tough and all the intangibles as well. And so, you know, you get some guys that I think that have tools in their body and excited to work with these guys. Like I said, it's day one, right? And to say who look good out there, who are you excited to work with? I'm excited to work with every one of these guys, and teach them the way we kind of do things here at the Philadelphia Eagles. So, like I said, just looking forward to that. I think, like I also said, you know, our scouts do a great job of finding guys that have talent in their body. Howie does a great job of finding guys who have talent in their body. That can be able to develop, right? And I think that you've seen it every year that we've been here. We've been able to have guys that are undrafted free agents that make it, whether that's Josh Jobe or Reed Blankenship or Jack Stoll. You know, I'm missing a bunch of guys, but those are the first three that kind of I thought of. Eli Ricks, right? A bunch of guys that have made this team. So it's exciting to see the first steps of who's gonna kind of emerge from that group. No, I think that you do as much as you possibly can to balance things out. Now, a righty you may boot a little bit more right than you do left, and vice versa for a lefty. But you know, I think a lot of coaches now too also balance that out because they know they have that tendency sometimes to go, you know, to make them go the opposite way. I think the hardest thing, you know, having a son who's a lefty and plays quarterback, the hardest thing is like trying to show him how you know, some things in his drop, and you try to flip it around, and you kind of are feeling unnatural doing it that way. I think that sometimes is the hardest thing. But no, I don't think that's been an issue, and is not an issue for us here with Cole.
All right, so there you have it. You got the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles talking a little bit about minicamp in this season ahead. And just a temperature check for those of you who are streaming out there with us. I take it that you are Eagles fans. I hope so. But let me know how you feel about this season ahead. Is this a winning season? Is this a Super Bowl season? Is this a championship season? Like, what are we feeling? Let me know what you think. Still ahead, though, want to remind you all we need another check of our weather forecast. It has been a fairly decent week here, but I hear next week it's going to be super duper warm. We got 2 big holidays coming up. How you can spend them, we'll check in with our Scott Williams. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. I'm Judea Murray. Tonight looks fairly decent, but tomorrow there's so much happening around the city of Philadelphia, and I hope that you plan on getting out there. I want to check in now with our meteorologist, Scott Williams. Scott, can you get us prepared ahead? Like, what is the weather looking like? Is it going to be a good day? Are our plans still on? What's going on?
Yeah, plans are still on. It will be a little chilly for the upcoming weekend, similar to last weekend with below average temperatures. Most of the suburbs will actually be stuck in the 50s, but we've got to take a live look back outdoors because we talked a little bit about this full moon earlier, and we're in luck because we still have some clear skies out there. And as we take a look right now, and you can see looking toward New Jersey, we're talking about that flower moon. You can kind of see it there. I don't know if we can take this full screen. You can see it under that red banner there, and that is what we're talking about, the first full moon of the month of May. It's called the flower moon, not because it looks like a flower, but it's the first full moon for the month of May. So certainly looking pretty good out there on this Friday night. Those temperatures are currently in the upper 50s. So once again, we're looking at today's full moon. Lots of folks have been commenting on it and seeing it across the area because we still have fairly clear skies out there. So basically on May 1st, we're looking at those flowers that are blooming across most of North America. April showers bring May flowers, and you know they're blooming because we're talking about the pollen being pretty high as well. But no flowers visible on that moon. And then take a look at this. The second full moon, yeah, there are two full moons for the month of May. It's called the blue moon, not because of the color of it, but it's just the second full moon in one particular calendar month. So there's your science lesson for tonight. And we're looking at those rainfall chances at about 30% for tonight. Temperatures will be dropping as we watch a coastal system develop for the upcoming weekend. The rainfall chance for tomorrow, 30%, mainly down the shore. Delaware Beach is the best bet at seeing a few showers out there. Speaking of showers, north and west, you can see toward the Lehigh Valley, the Poconos, looking at some of those thicker clouds, looking at a few of those showers trying to sneak in from the west. So we'll continue to follow this. A lot of this is going to be weakening, but about a 30% chance of an overnight shower as that system kind of moves on through from north and west to south and east. It will increase the clouds, so when you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be mostly cloudy for the majority of the region as well as for the bulk of the day. Now take a look well to the south. Look at that moisture streaming along the Gulf Coast. That is beneficial rainfall to some of the drought-stricken areas there, as well as South Georgia. We've been talking about those wildfires that have been burning for several weeks now, just kind of impacting that area. They will get some beneficial rainfall, but that conveyor belt of moisture will churn out into the open waters, kind of spinning up an area of low pressure. That's the coastal system staying hundreds of miles away from us, but we will still see some cloud cover and then the development of an easterly wind down the shore. So that will lock in the clouds, a bit of a breeze, as well as a 30% chance for some scattered showers down the shore for Saturday afternoon into the evening time frame. Most of us are going to stay dry for the entire weekend. Now take a look at these temperatures. We talked about it being below average. Average now is 70 degrees, but look at the numbers. We're looking at upper 50s down the shore. Temperatures upper 50s for Ocean City, 58 degrees. That'll do it for the high temperature. And we'll make it to around 61, 62 degrees even for Philadelphia. That's about 8 degrees below average for this time of year. North and west, I think we'll see a few more peaks of sunshine, but temperatures will still be in the upper 50s to low 60s from Allentown to the Reading area. Low 50s for high temperatures in the Poconos. Now, we're looking at lots of events this weekend, and then one in particular, folks are looking at the forecast for the Broad Street Run. It's a big event, the first Sunday every May, the 10-miler, and we're looking at temperatures at the start of that in the mid-40s. So a little chilly out there. We will see sunshine. I think we'll have a breeze out of the north and west about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those temperatures by noon, 55 degrees, that's going to do it. And then we're looking at those temperatures climbing into the low 60s. It will be brighter for the second half of the weekend. And then those temperatures back into the upper 70s, near 80 degrees by Monday. And then we are in the 80s on Tuesday, 85 degrees, 74 degrees by next Wednesday, and then back into the mid to upper 60s Thursday and Friday. Our best chance for more widespread rainfall Wednesday into Thursday as we watch a system kind of approach to the area. And then as we get toward Mother's Day weekend, next weekend, upper 60s on Saturday, low 70s by Mother's Day itself. There might be a shower chance, but hopefully the models are going to change and get that system out of here so we can have a nice, dry, and seasonable afternoon brunch or some, dinner plans with mom next weekend. So we'll update this forecast coming up tonight after the game. But I got to tell you that there you go, that flower moon. We talked about it, and there you go. It's beautiful. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's spectacular. And, there it is. We do have some clouds that are kind of moving in. But, yeah, it's our first full moon of the month, and then we have another full moon at the end of the month. So that one will be the blue moon. This one is the flower moon.
I love to hear it, Scott, and shout out to our director, Carly, for getting the perfect shot of that. I was talking to Kathy about this, so I'd love to pick your brain on it too. I learned yesterday, thanks to you guys giving me a little, meteorological lesson, that all the different names, like, isn't there a harvest moon, a beaver moon? Yep. I always thought maybe
Hunter's
there was some
moon,
yeah. Kind of like you were saying, based on the flowers moon. I didn't know if they were given names because of something else, or whether because it was supposed to look like something or another, like the blue moon. But it's really interesting on how you guys have all these
a lot
terms.
of them go along with things happening in the atmosphere, or happening with the seasons, or the harvest, or things of that nature. So
yeah, really cool to see. I wanted to see too if we can filter through some of the beautiful shots that we've got here around Philadelphia. As I mentioned, it is a perfect night. Beautiful. Oh, it's like Picasso's artwork. Okay, it is a beautiful night here across the city. A calm one too. As you mentioned from the shot with the full moon, there's really not that many clouds in the sky at all. Very few at all. And I'm hoping that the weather continues like this. I could do with weather like this. It's not too cold, not too hot.
Yeah, looking pretty good out there on this Friday night. Now, the clouds are going to be approaching overnight tonight, and Saturday is going to be rather cloudy as we watch that coastal system hundreds of miles out to sea. But those temperatures are still going to be below average by about 10 degrees for most of us, both Saturday and into Sunday.
And you know what? Earlier in this show, I had an interview with Abigail Shashut, who was telling us different things that you could do around town this weekend. And I told her that on Sunday, I would be interested in checking out the Broad Street Run. I forgot, though, that you said it was going to be in the 40s when it begins. So
mid to upper 40s. Yeah, mid to upper 40s. I mean, hey.
I'm recalculating my decisions.
It's not that bad. I think it's actually going to be a nice day for the runners. So yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. When you're getting out there and you're moving, like the cold air really doesn't hit you after you've been going for a little bit.
Yeah. Are you a runner? Are you a runner? Are you gonna do the Broad Street Run next year?
10,000 miles. I was a sprinter. After 100 meters, I don't want to see any more track. I'm done. Coach, I'm done. Take me out.
Bill Anderson was joking with me earlier. He was like, if you do it, I'll do it. You want to train? I'll train. I was like, okay.
Was that a okay or okay, leave me alone?
We'll see. That was a we'll see. Okay, we'll see.
Okay. I know what we'll see means, Scott. Thank you so much for giving us a look.
I may pass out some water. I'll pass out some water.
We're going to be I was going to say in the room, it's outside, but we'll be in the vicinity.
And Chris O'Connell's going to do it. He always does it, but he said he didn't train this year. Yeah, he said he didn't train this year, so he's not in it, but he normally does it, Chris O'Connell.
Goodness gracious. People who do marathons scare me. Yeah, that's a different type of commitment that you have to your body, that you just trust your knees like that. After a certain age, I gave it up.
Well, we had a story of a lady, I think Chris O'Connell interviewed, that she actually did the first one, and she's like in her upper 80s. So I mean, hey,
she's 87.
That's motivation. Yes, if that's not motivation, I don't know what is, right?
And you know what? I was just mentioning, I think I said something to the extent of after a certain age, I gave it up. I take it that she probably didn't stop, or maybe just after a while picked it back up and took it seriously. And I have been hearing from a lot of older people that that's the key. Like, you can't stop, you can't sit down.
Yeah.
And then
a lot
your
of people
body...
love this particular run because of the track. I mean, obviously it's, you start in North Philly and just head down to South Philly on Broad Street, and it's kind of downhill a little bit. So, yeah.
And I think I said 87, but she might be 89. He has an article, a story on this, as you just mentioned. I'm really happy that you brought this up because I almost forgot. Fox29.com if you guys would like to go check it out and see her. Also on our app, the Fox Local app, you guys can check it out too. And then, of course, if you get out there on Sunday, you might just see her. She says she has done every single run since this run has been going on. Just dedication. Incredible. Yeah, thank you so much, Scott, for giving us a look at our forecast. Also reminding me about this incredible news that we have right here underneath our nose. That was pretty cool.
All right, have a good weekend.
You too. And while we're talking about crazy cool things that are happening around here, the Flyers had an incredible game last night. It was one of those like nail biters because they were playing the Penguins. It was a really big deal. Penguins did not want to let up. The Flyers say, no, we need this for ourselves. And so they were going back and forth and back and forth. Nobody was scoring. I remember I had talked to Breland Moore right before she got ready for the 10 o'clock news and doing sports there. And she told me that it really was going to come down to probably an overtime. But she said it wasn't going to be a normal overtime. Whoever scored first, well, that was going to be it. Well, turns out Cam York, 25 years old from California, from the Flyers, made that game-winning score in overtime. He was so elated. He says he blacked out, but that's just how excited he was and so pumped. I can only imagine the adrenaline just going through his veins. But he says he threw his hockey stick into the crowd somewhere or another. One of those fans caught it. And I mean, that could have gone a number of ways, but we're only going to focus on the good. Jen Frederick from Fox 29 from Philadelphia Live earlier this morning actually tracked down that fan and got to interview him. I want to let you know how he felt about this incredible moment. He also had a special guest with him. Let's listen.
You see that goal go in clearly, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. And then take us through what happens next. He's like, he looks like he skates around and just goes, ka-chow! But what did it look like for you?
Well, mostly it was bedlam in the arena, obviously, because all the fans were sitting on the edge of their seats for 3+ periods. When that puck went between the pipes, it just was crazy. And my eyes were locked on Cam. He started to skate towards our direction, and then I see him throwing the stick into the stands. And it was sort of like a blur, but what was going through my mind was, one, I couldn't believe it because I've never seen a hockey player throw a stick like that. Two, it was coming in our direction. My wife was sitting next to me, so a little bit of self-preservation was going through my mind. And then mostly I was like, I'm getting that stick. It's up for grabs. And somehow there wasn't some big brawl. It just ended up in my hands pretty easily. So it was an incredible moment on top of the overtime goal, getting that stick sent my way.
All right. Now, I shared this with you in the break. I was like, by overtime, I would be tipsy. I would have already had some of those gigantic beers that they have. So tell us who is sitting next to you first. Tell us about Jake.
Okay, so to my left here is Jake Wiener. The reason he's here is because he's a very close family friend. I'm lifelong friends with his father, Donnie, and I wanted Jake to have this stick as a gift because he's a lifelong Flyer, as hardcore Flyers fan as you'll ever find. He's also a star ice hockey player for Council Rock South. He's broken all records in goals, assists.
Jake,
Penalty
this
minutes.
is
Penalty
amazing.
penalty minutes too, but we won't mention that. But he's a great, as good a hockey player is. He's a better kid, and I knew he would enjoy it 100 times more than I ever could. So that's why he's with me here today. The Flyers invited us down to meet Cam, and I thought it would be great for Jake to tag along.
Okay, so Cam got the stick back, right?
Yeah, I spoke with the Flyers organization yesterday. They let me know. I wasn't surprised that Cam had interest in getting the stick back. I was obviously fully agreeable, although I'm hearing that not everybody would have been. But I certainly wanted Cam to have that stick. And the Flyers invited us down to Voorhees to practice today to meet Cam, return his stick, and in exchange, he gave us another signed stick, signed Cam York Flyers jersey, and a Ziga and another jersey also. So it was awesome. It was really appreciative. Cam was like genuinely thankful and appreciative that I was able to return the stick. I think he was uniquely thankful that I didn't get hurt. And nobody else got hurt. I think he was very scared about that.
Of course. So wait, okay, I have a couple questions. You'll forgive me. Is he going to use the stick? I mean, that's a lucky stick. Like, is he going to use it tomorrow night? Is it usable?
That's what I was very curious about myself, and I asked him, and he's not going to play with it. He's going to keep it as memorabilia and get it encased because of how big of a goal, how big of a moment it was in his hockey career.
Okay, and can Jake hear me? He's just sitting there.
Yeah,
Jake?
I can hear you.
Okay, so you get a call from this guy, and he's like, dude, hop in the car. We're going to meet Cam York. And are you like, seriously? Like, this has to be amazing.
It's so cool. I'm so happy that I got to come today, leave school early. Come meet Cam York.
Okay,
He gets
did
to
you,
Flyers practice.
were they doing, I was going to say, they had a skate around, right?
Yes.
And I've been in that facility a lot of, you can see all of them right there so close. They must have known why you were there. Were you able to sit there while they were still skating, or did you come after?
We got there before they came out, so we got to see them do a skate around for 20, 30 minutes. And then it was a short practice because they're traveling later today. And as it was starting to wind down, that's when Flyers media got us connected with Cam. So we did get to see a lot of the players on ice. We got to see Cam up close and in person and have some words with him.
Okay, how do they look? Everyone's worried that they're tired, that they partied too hard. They thought they were playing on Monday. Guys, what do they look like?
All right, I got an inside scoop for you, and this is real. I told Jake this. I was taken back by how much energy I felt the second the first skate touched the ice. Like, you could just feel it.
The energy was insane.
Maybe every practice is like this. I don't know, but I just felt an extra special buzz from the players on ice, coming from that ice. They look confident. They look fresh. They look ready to go.
Jake, you're mowing this guy's yard. You're getting his groceries for him. You're making sure the wife is always covered in bubble wrap safely, and continue to have great success at LaSalle. I'm a lacrosse mom, so I know how great all your sports teams are. I know you guys are super busy. I'd love to see you in person one day. I'll come to a hockey practice. Thanks so much for making time for us.
It's our pleasure, Jen.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
And
Wait a minute. Incredible there. Because imagine, I didn't realize when she first got the interview, and I don't think Jen realized either, that the kid that was sitting on the side, he himself is a really successful young hockey player too. So to go to one of your favorite teams' games, they make it to overtime. They score, they win, and you catch the hockey stick that's thrown into the crowd. And then that's not the end of it. Then that player who threw the hockey stick wants it back, so you get to meet him, you get to meet the team, and now you get to sit in on practice. Like, this guy's gonna go back to school and just have the story of the century. Congratulations to you guys. As you said, maybe some other people wouldn't have given it back, or maybe wouldn't have given it back so easily. Maybe it would have came with a price tag, but it doesn't matter. You did the right thing and you got rewarded for it. So incredible there. We're going to take a quick step back. When we come back, I want to talk to you again about the Broad Street Run. As we got to hear, there's a pretty incredible athlete making her way through this race. Once again, she does it every single year. And we're also going to talk about this new thing with the bus tours. It's supposed to pay homage to some of those festivals here in Philly. They don't exist anymore. And it's really important. It's cultural. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. You guys, I'm Judea Murray. Big news from the Phillies game. Good news and bad news. Let's start with the bad. We just got news that Brandon Marsh has officially left the game. They say he has a bruised right elbow, so that's the outfielder that we're talking about there. I'm hoping that that is a quick recovery. But, I mean, even with that injury, it looks like the Phillies are pulling out. It's 6-1 right now against the Miami Marlins. They're at the top of the 8th. Feels like a pretty good game, you guys. It seems like they have hit their hot streak and they know what's working for them. We'll see if this continues. Of course, they got another game tomorrow, 4-10 against the Marlins. We're hoping that tonight they continue to pull out. I mean, I would love to see them score again and again and again. Do they have a mercy rule in baseball? Anyway, let's move on to a big event here in Philadelphia. It's the Broad Street Run. It happens every single year. This is the 47th run, and of course it's for a great cause. This is Independence Blue Cross Broad Street Run, scheduled for Sunday. Again, really big 10-mile race that we're looking at here. You can see that a lot of people get out, get excited for this. There's one particular run, though, that I'm really interested in shining some light on. I hear there's a woman in her late 80s who runs in every single race. So, of course, Sunday will be no different. She says she is fully prepared to compete. Now, Chris O'Connell, one of our reporters here from Fox 29, brings us her story. He spoke to so many other runners who were preparing for tomorrow, but the heart in her, you guys, you're gonna feel it. You can catch that on fox29.com right now, or you can head to the free Fox Local app if you'd like to see her, read more about her story, and check out some of the other runners, some of the other 40,000 runners who are gonna be taking part in that race on Sunday. Again, really cool there. It's a tradition. I'm still trying to decide if I'm gonna get out there and see it myself. But another tradition, you guys know that Philly is all about its festivals, all about its, what do you call them? It's the party in the street. Yes, a block party. Thank you. I don't know what it is with words. Sometimes they escape me. Block parties, they're really known for that. Well, there's a new thing going on out there called Save Philly Festivals, and there's a bus tour in order to honor it. So right now, ahead of America 250, Maiden Voyage is putting together a public tour. It's called Save Philly Festivals Bus Tour. Now, this is a cultural initiative. It's also, again, as the name says, a bus tour where you will be able to go through and see some of the areas where some of Philly's most historic festivals have taken place. These are going to be the festivals that no longer go on. It's to pay homage to all of those events that used to take place here. And again, this is ahead of the nation's 250th anniversary. So yes, while we are honoring some of our historic legends that we read about in social studies and in history, they also want to make sure that we are preserving our culture here in Philadelphia. I want to let you listen in to them and make that big announcement for this event. You're going to hear from Monica O. Montgomery, the creator for Save Philly Festivals.
Welcome, welcome, warm welcome to the first ever Save Philly Festivals Bus Tour. Yes, hey, how are you? I am Monica O. Montgomery, the founder and president of Diaspora DNA Story Center. We are a new cultural center right upstairs on the second floor, Suite 13 of Cherry Street Pier, and you are welcome to visit us. This is our first ever day open. Yes! So, you might be wondering, what are we doing here today? And I'm so glad you asked. First, I want to thank everyone who is here from the Diaspora DNA team, our board, our collaborators. We sincerely thank you. If you're a part of the Diaspora DNA team, please raise your hand. So you can be acknowledged. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today is not just an opening. This is the beginning of a movement. And this work is deeply personal to me as someone who's called Philadelphia home for the past 27 years. I came here in 1999 to go to Temple University. Shouts out Temple Maine. Hey, owls are everywhere. And then LaSalle University for my master's. And my parents sent me here. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, but don't hold that against me. And I came here and I got here and I loved it. This city held me in a way that never let me leave. The festivals, the culture, the neighborhoods came alive to me in a way that I felt like this is the best city in the world, and I have loved it, and I have stayed here ever since. Philadelphia has shaped me, as it has shaped us all. And one of the main things that I love about Philadelphia are the public gatherings, the festivals, the block parties that I've witnessed in the decades I've been here. And so now, in honor of that, I want to do something to give back to the city in a major way, and we are igniting a movement called Save Philly Festivals. Say it with me. Save Philly Festivals. Yes. Save Philly Festivals is here to ensure that every neighborhood, every street, every corner is pulsing with music and flavor and vibrancy and art and joy within our public gatherings, where residents feel pride of place, where economic investment is felt, where festivals can live on and on in this milestone anniversary and future years. I'm currently a doctoral student doing a PhD in community engagement and festivals. Yes, that's a thing. I go to Point Park University in Pittsburgh. Thankfully, I only have to go out there once a year, but I love Pittsburgh, they're great. But I'm learning all about community engagement through the lens of festivals and how festivals are really part of our story. So today is not just a launch, this is the research that I have done over years that is coming to life. We are putting out forth the research so that people know that festivals matter. Hey, baby. Festivals are disappearing, and we have to save Philly festivals. The spaces we gather are our identity, our history, our joy, our memory, and they're often disappearing due to lack of support and many other effects. A little later, you're going to hear from some festival producers and festival advocates who do this work in the city alongside us, so you can know how to support and save the festivals. This city is where we immerse ourselves in culture and customs. And sometimes the best and the brightest of who we are comes forward in festivals. We believe that festivals need the support because if you think of your favorite festival, what's your favorite festival? Shout it out. What is it?
Juneteenth Wellness and Arts Festival.
Hey, shout out another one. Ruth's Picnic, shout out another one. O'Doon Day, another one. Yes, Chinese Lantern Festival, another one. Carnaval de Puebla, yes, and another one. All of them, right? All of them is what we do this for. We represent for the festivals in the city that we love, that tell our story, and that need our preservation and support. We want to think about other festivals like the one that just happened, East Passyunk Flavors on the Avenue, or Jazz on the Ave up on Cecil B. Moore, or Manayunk Street Festival, right? Or all the block parties and the parades, the flag raisings, the night markets that happen all through the year. That is what we care about, and that's what we're trying to preserve. Preservation isn't just for buildings. It's not just for old things. It can be for things that are alive, that are happening right now. And when we think about other festivals, it highlights our pride, both our neighborhood pride, our cultural pride, pride as people of color or people of difference or people in different neighborhoods, pride that LGBTQ communities have, and the pride of place that we have in Philadelphia. When we support festivals, you're supporting a small business in action. A festival is comprised of an ecosystem of small businesses. There are photographers and food trucks and artists, right? And there's AV people, there's performers, there's decor, there's all kinds of folks, jewelers, all the kinds of things that you love to see at festivals. You're supporting that, you're investing in the economy of Philadelphia so local Philadelphians can thrive. And we feel that that's very, very important and worth saving. This isn't just a tour, this is a living archive in motion of what happens in our city. The bus tour that we're launching today at 12 o'clock is the beginning of many that we will do, starting from our home here in Cherry Street Pier, sailing through the city to see the neighborhoods outside of Center City, where people live, work, and play, where people gather and have festivals. And we're excited to share that work with you. We want to make sure that our festivals are not forgotten. As I mentioned, small businesses are the backbone of our city. And if you think of someone who is vending at a festival, maybe it's their side hobby or side hustle. Maybe it's their main source of income. Maybe they just wanted to do something creative and see if the market would support it. But it is supporting creatives and small businesses, and that work is important. Thinking of economic investment happens at a grassroots level when we support festivals. I also want to say, loudly and proudly, that festivals change our cultural landscape. All of the people that are coming here this year for the semi-quincentennial, many are tourists, some are local, some regional. They're coming because of the events, the festivals that we are going to celebrate with, the festivals that have been happening and the new ones. And that's something to celebrate. That's cause for upliftment. When we think about the neighborhoods festivals happening in, from Overbrook to Albany, FDR Park to Parkside, Africatown to Germantown. When we think of Chinatown and Manayunk and Kensington and Cobbs Creek and Fairmount and Fair Hill and all of these places where the vibrant festivals live and the cultures live, we uplift that, we celebrate that, and we will have a chance to go through some of those neighborhoods and learn more about their history and their festivals. This is America's 250th, and it's a really big deal. And we are celebrating America's 250th by celebrating what's homegrown, our festivals. I want you to know that today, by you attending and partnering with us at this kickoff, that you are celebrating and uplifting local businesses. We want to thank Karen Smith, who is a frequent festival performer on the drums. We want to thank our production team at We Love Philly, all the youth who are making the media happen right now. We want to thank our publicist, Teresa Spencer of Vintage Green PR, that invited most of you to this room. We want to thank Let's Rally, our technology partner. Yes, there's an app. You can go to Let's Rally, a QR code will be provided, and download more to look at our interactive festival story map. We want to thank all of the people that made this day happen. We want to give a special shout out to the festival producers. If you are a festival producer in this room, please stand and wave and be honored in this moment. Yes, yes, yes,
And I want
we
to
see you.
take this beat right here to let you all know where you can go if you would like to participate in one of these tours. As she mentioned, it's going to have live performances, tastings. You're going to see all of Philly's beautiful murals, and of course there's a scavenger hunt along the way, so it gets really interactive. There was one today, but it'll also happen again on May 9th and then May 23rd, just in case you missed it. And noon to 3 p.m. is the time slot that you need to carve out. If you'd like to go, all you have to do is go on their website, Cherry Street Piers website, and you'll have to book your tour. And then from there, you will get to explore a whole bunch of different neighborhoods across the city of Philadelphia. Of course, you are going to see so much culture. You're going to learn about so much history. It's going to be incredible. So just wanted to let you all know what's going on there with that festival bus tour. All right, you guys, there are also a lot of trending stories out there. I want to know what you guys are interested in. What are you clicking on? What are you reading? What are you paying attention to on social media? Let's bring up Jake Leonard from the digital team here. Jake, I'm going to kick this on out the way. All right.
Nothing there. Nothing there. Nobody saw
Thanks.
anything.
Thank you. You didn't see me lose like 5 inches. Hey, what are the people talking about online?
So we have a really interesting story
Mhm.
trending on our website right now, and it's about Build-A-Bear. You know Build-A-Bear.
I love Build-A-Bear.
I loved Build-A-Bear growing up. You get the little bear and you stuff it. Well, there's actually been a recall.
Why?
Yes.
On what?
So, the bears. It comes from, I think, the hearts. You know, like how you had like the little heart boxes
Yeah,
that
that's
you would
what
put
makes
in.
it special.
Yeah, so it was approximately 36,000 Build-A-Bear bears that were recalled. The heartwarming hugs plushes, they're called. There was like a zipper on like the pouch that was like connected to the heart that was a choking hazard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was 36,000 units in the US and 520 in Canada. So if you have any Canadian viewers, can be affected too. So basically it's just like a bear with a side pouch containing a removable heart-shaped bag, and it just has beads that can be like either heated up or cooled, like, you know, like you can either snuggle with it or cool down with it. That's bad. So these were sold online or in one of the Build-A-Bear stores between January 2026 and March 2026.
Okay. I mean, it's not good to hear, but good to hear. I just bought my nephew one for Christmas, but that would be before the cutoff date that you just gave me.
So you're good. So if you bought one of these bears, you can see it on the screen. If you bought one of them between March and January, just be on the lookout. Proceed with caution. You know, you could call the Build-A-Bear number. It's 844-541-0144 to request a free return. You could return it, get your money back. You could also go in the store, talk to someone. So if you're even a little bit nervous, just be safe.
Just
you
call
know,
and ask questions.
100%.
Yeah. And with these kind of recalls, I've actually had to do a recall on a product before. Well, I thought I was going to have to. Kind of like you just mentioned, you can call the number and ask your questions.
Yes.
I found out that the product that I had didn't fall into line with what they were taking back. So, but he just gave you guys the number. We also have an article, as you can see, up on our website. If you guys need to check it out and learn a little bit more, that's the place you're going to want to go.
Yes, definitely.
Crazy stuff. Wow.